We'll discuss all that and more after the latest news with Nicole Pullman.
A man's due in court later this morning charged with murdering an elderly widow who was beheaded in Edmonton in North London. Palmyra Silva, who was 82, was found in her garden on Thursday afternoon. Nicholas Salvador, who's 25, has also been charged with attacking a police officer. A West Midlands MP says the case of a Birmingham mother cleared of failing to send her daughter to school as she recovered from cancer should never have gone to court. Kerry Capper failed to tell teachers why her daughter Libby had missed 7 separate days of lessons, and the council sent her penalty notices. Liberal Democrat MP for Yardley in Birmingham, John Hemming, says it shouldn't have gone that far.
That does happen at times. People are a bit short. Sometimes they're frightened as well, to be honest, because all the state does is go around send threatening letters. I've seen somebody, for instance, whose £30 bus fine has now got to £400 and things like that. And then the state gets more and more aggressive, and it doesn't do any good for the kids. You look what's happened with the King family, who've gone off to Spain, been arrested, etc., etc. That sort of thing's not sensible.
Asher King, the 5-year-old British boy with brain cancer, is preparing to travel to the Czech Republic for specialised radiotherapy treatment, not available in Britain. A High Court judge ruled last night that Asher King could be taken to the clinic in Prague to receive proton beam therapy. His parents were jailed briefly in Spain after they removed him from a hospital in Southampton and left Britain in search of alternative treatment. Air passengers are facing delays and cancellations today because of a strike by air traffic controllers in Italy. The 4-hour walkout will begin at 11:30. Ryanair and EasyJet have cancelled more than 150 flights, and British Airways says some of its flights will also be disrupted. It's the second day of the Green Party conference in Birmingham. It's happening at Aston University, and climate change and education are on today's agenda. In the West Midlands, there are now 25 Green councillors on 10 local authorities, but there's only one MP, and that's in Brighton. Tim Hodgson is a Green councillor from Solihull.
We're standing in more constituencies this time than ever before. Just down the road in Solihull, we're really going for the seat this time round. We haven't stood there since 92. I think there's a real difference that we can make by putting forward policies that are really progressive. People will see the benefits of them when they come to decide who to vote for at the general election.
The weather brightening up today with some warm sunny spells in the afternoon and a top temperature of 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Becoming dry with clear skies tonight, a cooler night than of late, with a minimum overnight temperature of 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. Lots to talk about this morning. I was struck there, though, by the fact that the Greens are having their annual conference. What do they call it? Party conference. Is that the phrase? In Birmingham. Does anybody care about the Greens anymore? They were kind of exciting about 15, 20 years ago, but do they serve any purpose? I'd love to speak to you if you're going to the conference, or if you have or intend to vote Green, because let's be honest, it's a wasted vote, isn't it? They've been usurped, first by the BNP and then by UKIP. It's not a protest vote anymore. It's not a useful vote at all, I would have thought. 03453 009956. What's the point of the Greens?
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
We weren't going to talk about the Greens this morning, but I'd heard them on Radio 4 yesterday, and then Nicole reminding us that their conference is happening in Birmingham. It's a low-key event. Boy, ever been to a party political conference? Man, they're dull. They're as dull as you'd imagine them to be. But the Greens are having a conference. Be honest, OK? they don't serve any purpose. They did 15, 20 years ago. They were a good kind of left-leaning sort of pressure group that may have influenced one or two policies in the bigger political parties. But now, I would suggest they don't even have that influence. The political parties are listening to UKIP more. All of the political parties are. So, your thoughts on the Greens? And I'm just throwing this out there. We had no intention of talking about this, but just as Nicole was I nearly said banging on about it. That's rude, isn't it? How rude. As Nicole was mentioning it, it just kind of dawned on me, well, what purpose do they serve? 03453 009956. Do we need the Green Party anymore? Let's just throw that out there and see what's happening. Today's show, kind of a hodgepodge. Hodgepodge or hodgepodge? Hodgepodge. Whispers producer Joe in my ear, who's back. Nice to see you. Hodgepodge of stuff that we've kind of... Well, it's all thrown together, really, and we're going to throw it out at you and see what sticks. The first thing that struck us, it's in a lot of the newspapers, it's on the front page of the Daily Mirror. I'm slightly distracted by Greg Wallace's fake smile. It's a horrible picture. It's going to be the toughest 15 minutes of your life. If you go look beneath that, there's a big story that's in a lot of the papers. Have a go Grandad fights off 3 armed burglars. He forces Yobs with a crowbar and razor to flee. And then there's a picture of him. Well, the only phrase I could use is duffing up some burglars. He's duffing them up. A great-granddad fought off 3 crowbar-wielding burglars with his bare hands. 59-year-old Andrew Adamson refused to back down despite being battered and threatened with a razor. He said, "I wasn't going to let them ransack my house." The men fled and he was left needing stitches to cuts. Simple question. Two questions off the back of that. Would you have 3 questions off the back of that? Three. Would you have a go? 1. Have you had a go? 2. Number 3, is Mr. Adamson a little bit of a plum? He got off with it this time, but really, if you've got burglars in your house, should you be putting yourself at risk? Hey, listen, burglars come into my house. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be humiliated. I'll probably be very, very upset. If they're just going for the TV and the Xbox, hey, do you know what? I've got insurance. They can have them. Don't hit me. Don't hurt me. You can have them. If they go for the kids, if they start to go towards the kids' bedroom, that's a different story, OK? Then things change, and then I will become much more defensive. Of course I would. But if they're just going to take things, let them have them. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Hey, easy for me to talk about it. I've never been in that situation. John Dance from Castle Bromwich has been, though. Morning, John. John, what happened to you?
Well, very briefly, the wife went out shopping with the daughter, went in the car, so I was just left to do a few odd jobs, and I decided to go up to the shops to fetch a paper. Walking up there, when I came back, I went in the garage doorway, which is different from the front door, walked round to the hall to hang my coat up, and there was glass everywhere. And the hall was in such a state, door was wide open, and I could hear footsteps upstairs. So I sort of panicked a little bit, obviously, because the house was in a bit of a mess. And I remembered I'd got like a pickaxe handle that was in one of the cupboards. So I grabbed hold of that, walked into the hall, and I could hear these footsteps coming down. And as the stairs, there's a bit of a bend in the stairs, so you don't know who's coming down the stairs. So I was sort of waiting there, and it's all right talking about it. It just brings back memories, to be honest.
Well, can I ask, John, how long ago did this happen?
About 2.5 years ago.
Because I can hear you sound quite anxious and upset telling the story.
Yeah, well, I don't mention it, to be honest. I don't really talk about it, so it's when somebody asks me, it just brings back the memories.
Well, you take your time. You tell us what you want to tell us.
All right, sorry about this. And he came downstairs, and it just confronted him. He just walked straight downstairs towards me, and I thought, I didn't know whether he got a knife or was anybody behind him. So I just whacked him with his pickaxe handle straight away before he had a chance to attack me, because obviously, I'm getting on in age, like 75, and I thought he was only youngster, well, middle-aged anyway, probably half my age, and I thought, well, I'll give him a bit of a whack with the pickaxe handle. Hopefully, knocked him off balance, and we started to sort of wrestle. I grabbed hold of him, and he was crying out, saying I'd hurt him, and we started to scuffle. I dragged him into the kitchen. I was going to make a phone call because I got my phone on me to the police. And he just said, you've hurt me, I'm fainting. So as I sort of loosed him, I said, well, go and sit down in a chair. He turned around and then punched me. And we started to fight again then. And I dragged him into the conservatory. We was fighting, and as we was fighting, I tripped over the coffee table and he just ran out the garage. And that was it, basically. Probably lasted maybe a few minutes, but it just brings back memories because I just thought if the wife had come back on her own or with the daughter and he'd have been in the house, I just wondered what would have happened. It just thinks that somebody's in your house, smash the windows, ransack the wife's jewellery, all the gold, everything else, wedding rings, so forth, all heirlooms. So he just ransacked that, and of course, obviously, he filled his pockets and got most of it and ran away. But luckily, the police did catch him. So we're very pleased about that. And police were on the ball straight away.
Was there... To strike him, John, was that instinctive? Did you just find yourself doing that? How did that work?
I think it's just... I know it sounds ridiculous, but I did do time in the army, serving abroad. And we did have confrontations with certain organisations over there. So it didn't really bother me too much about actually attacking him first, because he was in my house threatening me. And I just felt angry, to be honest.
And at no point did you think... So I was saying earlier, John, if someone came into my house, and as long as they're not going for my family, do you know what? It'll be humiliating, it'll be frightening, but they could take what they want. I'm covered on the insurance. It's not worth risking my health. Did you not think that at all?
I'm sorry, but I didn't think that at all at the time.
Yeah.
I just never thought about it. I just thought there's somebody here. He's in my house attacking me, stealing the wife's jewellery or everything else. He's actually encroaching on my house. I've never been burgled before. And the thought was, what's he doing in my house? And I just wanted to just get him out of the house, probably just attack him. I didn't really want to do him a lot of harm, to be honest. I could have probably hit him 2 or 3 times, but I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to stop him in his tracks.
Get him out?
And get him out. That's what I wanted to do. Phone the police. But obviously it turned a little bit nasty, so he retaliated and we had another fight. But to be honest, I was a bit worried about the wife coming back and catching us because she was only sort of minutes away. So that was a bit of a problem. I was thinking about that. And... It was messy around the house, but you hear a lot of talk about police, but they were really good.
They caught the fella. What did he get in the end?
Well, they tell me, because there was blood about, they collected the blood samples and they got DNA evidence against him, which was a good thing because he'd done other burglaries, and I think they more or less, he was doing another burglary, I think, at the time, so they matched him up with this burglary, and I think he got about 3 years.
Brilliant.
But the police were absolutely on the ball.
Yeah.
I couldn't criticise the police, although we do hear quite a lot about the police at the moment, but the response was brilliant.
John, I know it's uncomfortable, but I really appreciate you sharing your story this morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry I feel a bit nervous about it, but I don't normally talk about it because it just reminds me of the event at the time. So if you come across as being a little bit shaky, I'm sorry about that.
John, you don't owe us an apology at all. I can understand why it would be so upsetting after all this time.
But anyway, thank you for that anyway.
Thank you very much, mate.
But can I just add one point?
Yeah, go on.
When you hear about these other... I've just heard this morning somebody was attacked and he challenged 3 people.
Yeah.
And it was an elderly lady attacked people. These people, they're so brave. I mean, compared with mine, they are heroes to have a go like that.
John, there will be lots of people listening this morning who think you're a bit of a hero as well, so don't do yourself down. I really appreciate your time. I know it's uncomfortable telling that story, but thank you. That's John Dance from Castle Bromwich, saying that Andrew Adamson and other people, other have-a-go heroes, are heroes. Well, are they heroes? Would you be able to do what John did? Philip, you don't want to mess with John, ex-military. He's got a pickaxe handle in his hand. You don't want to mess with him. 03453 009956. Are they heroes or are they... Well, are they a little bit silly, really? Your thoughts, please. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel. Here's Lisanne.
Good morning. Well, as you're heading out at the moment, traffic starting to build up now for the Suffolk Street Queensway as you're coming into Birmingham. It's heavy as you make your way between Paradise Circus and the Queensway Tunnel at Newmarket Street. Otherwise, though, we seem to be doing pretty well on main routes in the city centre. If you're heading out and about for the motorways, it's looking a lot better for you on the M6, where things were a bit sticky this morning, but traffic continues to cope well north and southbound through the stretch. On the M5, it's building up still from junction 2 to 1, so still a bit of a slow go from Albury towards the West Bromwich turning. No major disruption for our train services at the moment. Public transport's coping well for us. There's a few possible delays on the New Street line to Shrewsbury because of a signalling problem, but it's not causing significant disruption for the rest of the routes along the rails there for you. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
This year, one man takes on the biggest challenge of his life. His mission: to change the lives of many in Birmingham and the Black Country.
Jim, listen, I'm going to personally call them after the show. You got my word on this. You're not being treated fairly. They gave you their word. They're not keeping to it.
And bring the chaos with him.
I'm going to read out the phone number nice and slowly because someone's complained. 030. Forgotten it, I don't believe it. What a mug I look.
A new champion for the West Midlands. Forget everything you've heard before.
I have been sacked so many times. I'm just waiting for it to happen here.
A new hero for mid-mornings.
You got the Danny Kelly guarantee.
His name, Danny Kelly, starts Monday from 9 when he finally gets here.
Guys, train's running late. Can you start without me again? So sorry.
BBC WM
95.6.
03453 009956. Is now a good time to tell you that we're doing a show from Fridays? This coming Friday, 2 till 4. Me and producer Joe doing another 2 hours of this nonsense. That'll be fun. We're still doing Saturdays, so don't panic, kids. But we'll also be doing Fridays between 2 and 4. So that's something to look forward to. For somebody. OK, so we're talking about have-a-go heroes. Front page of the Daily Mirror, and lots of the other stories. Have-a-go granddad fights off 3 armed burglars. Great-granddad fought off 3 crowbar-wielding burglars with his bare hands. Andrew Adamson, 59. A great-granddad at 59. Flippin' heck. They're all starting young in that family, aren't they? Blimey. Anyway, he fought off 3 yobs that had razors and crowbars. We spoke to John Dance there. He whacked a burglar with a pickaxe handle. And he was in his 70s. John Dance was, not the burglar. That wouldn't be quite so impressive. Part of me thinks, yes, these people are very brave, and I don't want to knock John, I don't want to knock Mr. Adamson at all. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't see the need to do it. If someone's in my house, right, and they're going for my Xbox or my telly or... I have nothing else of worth in my... They can take them. I would be humiliated, I would be embarrassed, I would be angry. But hopefully I wouldn't get hurt. They start walking towards my boys' bedrooms, then that's a different thing. Then maybe I'll try and get a little bit feral. But if it's just things, it's just things. 03453 009956. What do you think about what you heard, John, there, and Andrew's story in the newspaper? Is it ever worth having a go at burglars in your house? Isn't it best just to let them get on with it? Helen's in Stafford. Morning, Helen.
Morning.
What would you like to say?
What's your address?
Sorry?
What's your address?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, why not? Because you're saying that we can come in and take anything we can, as long as we don't touch anyone.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that you can just... I'm not saying that Helen from Stafford can come to my house...
Which I won't.
Good, you're good. You're saying that now, but if I get burgled, you are the first suspect. You know that, don't you?
That's OK, I'll give you my address as well.
This tape will be played in court. I'm not saying... obviously, it's not an open invitation. We have a burglar alarm. We have locks on the doors and all the windows. We've got good locks. So we're doing our best. But if I come home or I wake up and I find somebody with a weapon in my house... I'm not going to get involved with them, am I?
Why not?
Because I don't want to get killed. I'm a dad. I've got a responsibility. I don't want my boys to be orphaned.
No, you don't want your boys to be orphaned, but what you need to do is protect. And that is, as our job as parents, we need to protect. Whether it's our home and our children, our wife, our husband, we need to protect. I have a baseball bat under my bed.
Oh, blimey.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Well, if someone comes into my house, they're getting it.
How tall are you, Helen?
5'6".
Right, so you're nothing. With the greatest of respect...
Oh, thanks.
No, but with the greatest respect...
I'm nothing.
No, in as much as... If a big bloke in his mid-30s, 33-year-old, 6'4" bloke comes in, and a 5'6" woman with a baseball bat goes for him, he'd grab that and he'd punch her in the face.
OK, imagine when I listened to John's story then, the adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all you need to do, or all he wants to do, is get them out the house.
Yeah.
Which is what I would do.
There's 3 of them. There are 3 blokes in their mid-30s in your bedroom. I don't know, maybe that's happened before. But these want to...
It hasn't, unfortunately.
But these want to burgle you. Come on, with the greatest... Just let them take your telly. Let them take your jewellery, Helen. It doesn't matter.
What am I going to do? Hide in my bedroom with my 4 children?
Yep.
No. And
that's what I'd do.
No. I'm sorry.
Why? It's just things.
These are my possessions, and no one has the right to come into my home, into our home, and take anything that we have worked bloody hard for. Yes, we're insured.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are insured. But there is nobody has the right to come into my home.
And as I've said before, if they started walking towards my boy's bedroom, then they better watch out, because then that is a different game. But...
What would you do then? Come on, Ian. What would you do? They've got a knife. What would you do?
I would fight them to the death if I thought my boys were in danger.
Absolutely.
But if I thought my telly was in danger, I'd let them have it.
But they're not. They don't just come in for that.
What do they come in for?
And the Xbox and everything else.
What do they come in for?
They are invading our home.
Yeah.
And if my children can see that I am going to protect everything that we have, surely that is a better situation.
I think that would be educating your children wrong priorities.
I disagree with you completely. So it's okay for me to stand back and go, OK, let the bullies come in, let them take everything that we've got.
It's okay, because you have a responsibility to your children to stay alive for them, OK?
Yes, and I would die for my children.
Well, no, and I would die to protect my children, but I'm not going to die to protect my telly. And if those guys have... Let's assume you got your baseball bat, there are 3 blokes with a knife. They would be able to disarm you quite easily. You start fighting, you start kicking off because they're nicking your DVD player, one of them stabs you. You want your kids to see that?
No, but what I want my children to understand is that no one takes anything, that because they're bullies, and that's what burglars are, they're bullies. They come in, they try and intimidate you. I was burgled many, many years ago. I wasn't in the house at the time. But if I'd have been in the house, and I lived on my own as a single woman, many, many years ago, before I'd met my husband, obviously, as a single woman, what could I have done? Do I just go and hide in a cupboard somewhere? No.
But I don't understand. You keep putting forward this proposition, do I go and hide in a cupboard, as though that's a cowardly thing to do.
No. Yes.
No, it's a sensible thing to do.
What, raid everything that I've got?
Helen, you're insured. You will get it all back.
But you don't understand it.
I don't understand what you're saying, and I'm surprised that you think hiding in a cupboard could be considered cowardly and not sensible.
No, I didn't mean cowardly.
OK. It's sensible. It's sensible, isn't it?
Someone going, just imagine, your children aren't in the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And someone comes in and raids your house. Could you live in that house again?
I would find it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would find it very difficult, of course.
So... even if your children are here and someone comes and burgles your house, could you live in that house again? Would your children feel safe that they can live in that house because they think...
They'd feel safer than if they'd seen Daddy getting stabbed.
Yeah, but Daddy wouldn't have got stabbed.
Helen, you don't know. People do get... There's 3 of them. This fella, Mr. Adamson, I suggest, was very lucky. They tried to whack him with a crowbar and then someone pulled a razor out.
You might get cut.
Oh, Helen Helen, excellent call. Thank you. 03453 009956. Already, we're not even 30 minutes into the show. She's introduced a lovely little tangent. A lovely little tangent. Great call, Helen. Thank you. What have you got under your bed? Now, this can be to do with protecting yourself, or it can be, what have you got under your bed? Keep it clean. Producer Joe has got an old-school rolling pin. A rolling pin under her bed. First of all, I didn't know that rolling pins still existed. And a rolling pin? What's under your bed? If you're still in bed now, have a little look under there. I've hoovered under my bed this week. Under mine was a mouldy apple, a sock, a wee willy winky cap. That's what I wear in bed, a wee willy winky cap, and my broadband connection. What's under your bed? Weapons or otherwise? 03453 009956. Kev's in King's Heath. Morning, Kev.
Morning, Ian. All right?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. What have you got?
Yeah, a couple of quick points. If I can. I'm just listening to you on that last call, and you kind of... I had a point to make, and I've got another one there.
Go on, yeah.
You're kind of contradicting yourself, Ian.
Tell me why.
Well, you said, did you not? I've got locks, alarms, and good double... I've got everything on my house.
Yeah.
I've got an alarm. I've got good... Do us a favour when you get home, and I must qualify this, I'm not a burglar, and I don't intend to ever be a burglar, and I never have been a burglar.
You've
when
made
you
that
get
clear.
home,
Yes.
when you get that home, take them all off, and while you're at it, take your front door off.
What?
Let's see what happens, and let's see how you deal with that, with your telly going out the window and let people into your house to take things. If you rob my house, my main point was, if you rob my house...
Yes.
I think it's your occupational hazard that you get whatever you are faced with.
Right, within reason, as the law would say.
Yes, within. And if I feel threatened by your presence and I fear that my life is in danger, I can take the first swipe.
Yeah, within. But obviously, any violence has to be within reason.
Yes, and I'm trained in a certain art, and I have to be careful what that swipe is.
What art is that?
You don't know that, but you come to my house, and you surely must have...
What art are you trained in? Sculpture?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu?
Lao-Gar.
Hey, I used to do Lao-Gar.
There you go.
I used to train. Will this name mean anything to you? I used to train with a gentleman called Neville Ray.
Yes.
Yeah, he was nuts. He was brilliant, great. Anyway.
Yeah, well, you would know then that you can do certain things that would restrain or disable somebody.
I couldn't do it now. It was 30 years ago.
I think if you had to, you might come back to in some way.
But listen, your point. I don't understand your point about taking the door off, turning the burglar alarm off, and leaving all the windows open. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I've protected my house to the best of my ability. I've bought the best security kind of the best security that I can afford. So I'm hoping burglars won't get in. If they do get in, I'm not going to tackle them.
I understand you about saying it's only a telly and you are right. It's just possession.
It's not worth it.
Your life's more valuable. But I think most people's thing is like that gentleman that called you and that fellow who tackled three of them. I wouldn't recommend that. But most people's thing is if someone's in your house and you're walking on it, you're thinking, no. I'm not having
but
this.
Those are just thoughts, and you're right. I've touched wood. I've never been burgled. Speaking of people who have, it's humiliating. It brings on shame. It brings on anger. All these kind of feelings. They are just feelings. I will be able eventually to deal with those. If someone got into my house and said, "Right, you sit there, don't move. We're taking stuff," I would sit there and say, "Yes, sir. Can I give you a hand, sir?"
Well, I was attempted burglary 14 years ago, and guess what? They couldn't get into my place because guess what, Ian? I had great locks on it, and I fitted them myself.
Yeah, I've got great locks.
But I almost popped hold of the burglar, only for the bottom step of my stairs creaked. Otherwise, I'd have had him, and the police came round, and I said, "This is what I would have done," and they said, "Well, there you go. You see, there's the problem. You would then be the one that would be in trouble. You just need to think about what you would do." But
Kev, Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan?
Oh, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, there we go. I knew that'd be the answer. He does Lao-Gar. He's a sensible fella. Kev, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. Am I a coward? Producer Joe is nodding and saying yes. But OK, I don't know. Do you really think I'm a coward? Unbelievable. Thank you. Some text. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a coward. If that's the case, I've got two boys, right, who came home last night after being away for 3 weeks. Boy, did I get the best welcome at the airport ever. That was awesome. But my responsibility ultimately is to those two boys, right? above and beyond myself, and probably above and beyond my wife, is to those two boys. If there is any chance of me getting seriously injured or killed, then I have to avoid that. I have to be there for the children. Don't I? 03453 009956. Burglars. Also, what have you got under your bed? Weaponry or otherwise, keep it clean. Sue says, I have a knife under the pillow and a bat by the bed, and I'd use them. A knife under the pillow? You can't sleep with a knife under the pillow. Anonymous has texted, you chicken-livered foolish coward. Where's your name? Who's the coward now? Morning, Ian, you're right. Oh, that's about the Green Party. We'll do the Greens in a minute. We'll get to that in a bit. A knife under the pillow, I know. You could slice an ear off, a finger. Who knows what could happen? Peter's in the Birmingham city centre. Morning, Peter. Peter?
Hello, boys.
Peter, are you underwater or something? Yeah, I tell you what, we'll call Peter back, shall we? We can't call Peter back. We've lost him. He's dropped off. There we go. That's Peter. Peter, call back, you silly sausage. We lost you. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. I do think... Am I a coward for not wanting to get involved with a burglar? No, I don't think so. I think I'm sensible. And I would. If I'm sat there... If the burglars come in, right, you sit there, we are taking your stuff. Away you go. Help us carry this out to the van. All right, sir. OK, sir. Of course I'd give it to them. I'm insured I'd get it back. Yeah, they start walking towards my boy's bedroom, then I'd kick off. What would I do? I don't know. I assume some kind of animal instinct would kick in. It's like, here's another thing, right? You hear quite often, don't you, about these Securical vans and other vans where they're delivering to banks or delivering money to supermarkets or collecting money from supermarkets, and they get held up by an armed robber or a robber with a knife or a gang of thieves. And either the Securical man or a bystander gets involved. No one could argue that's sensible. That's ridiculous, because those supermarkets, Securical, they're insured. So that £10,000 they're taking out of Tesco to put in the Securical van, or they're taking out of the security van to take to the local bank, that's insured. There's no point in fighting for that. Give it to them. You know I'm making sense. 03453 009956. Gordon's in Leebank. Morning, Gordon.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
I'm talking sense, and I'm getting frustrated that no one else seems to get it.
You're talking sense. What? Can you answer me a question?
Do you want me to ask you a question?
Yes. Can you answer me a question?
I'll answer you a question, yes.
What? Are you a man or are you a mouse?
Let me just have a quick look. I'm a man.
Are you a man or a mouse?
I've just checked, Gordon, and I'm at the very least, I'm a male mouse.
OK, you're a male mouse, as you say. Boy, you're telling me you wouldn't defend your property?
I would not defend my property. If there were three burglars and they've got knives and it's me there, no, I'm not going to risk my life for a telly and an Xbox. No.
OK, fair comment. That's fair comment, I suppose. But wouldn't you try and defend yourself?
No, I defend myself. If they were going to batter me, then yeah, I'd try and protect myself. But I'm not going to protect my property, Gordon. It's not worth it. I've got contents insurance.
Whether you got contents insurance or not, that is not the principle.
It's principles. No. Principles get people killed, Gordon. I would rather be alive with no principles than be dead. And they'd say at my funeral, well, at least he was principled. Forget that, sunshine.
Well, put it this way: if somebody tried breaking into my flat, I think you'd have a hell of a long way to jump.
Right. How old are you, Gordon?
I am 61. I'm 62 in November.
Gosh, well, you've got an old voice.
Right, and I'm 6 foot tall.
Right, OK. So you're
at the side of my bed, I've got a butt end of a snooker cue. And believe you me, Ian, it's flipping heavy.
Yeah.
I would not hesitate to use it.
So three fellas who are 25, 6'4", break into your house. They've got two of them have got knives, and one has got a bicycle chain.
Yeah.
and they say, right, old man, stay in your bed and you don't get hurt. We're just here for your VHS and your TV. You're going to attack them, are you?
No.
Where are your principles, Gordon?
Hang on, Ian.
Where's your principles?
Bear me out, Ian. If somebody wants to break into my flat, they'll have a long way to climb up because I'm on the 8th floor of a block of flats.
Oh, and you haven't got stairs or a lift?
I've got a lift.
They would probably... I'd imagine they'd use the lift, Gordon, probably.
But how would they get in if you don't know the person because it's a residential
Okay. They've either managed to get a copy of your key or they kick the door in. Doesn't matter how they've got in. There are 3 fellas in your flat. Two have got knives. One's got a bicycle chain. They say to you, Gordon, stay in bed. You won't get hurt. We're just going to take your possessions. Would you stay in bed or would you get your snooker cue and fight them?
If I had a chance of grabbing the button of the cue, if I got hurt, I'd make sure.
So you would get out of bed and fight 3 men with knives.
Well, Ian, I've spoke to you before about
Gordon, you're a plum.
No, Ian, I'm not a plum. I'm a sensible guy.
What's sensible about fighting?
Like I said, Ian, I've got a nice television. I've got a nice radio.
Have you got insurance?
Well, not at the moment, no. I wouldn't care.
Oh, he's not got insurance. Oh, for goodness. How can you have a house or a property and not have contents insurance? You deserve that. You don't deserve to be burgled, but you need to have contents insurance.
The point is, Ian, if you 2 men have a go, right?
They've stabbed him.
At least you've got the guts to have a go.
Yeah, and look at your guts. Look at your guts. Look at your guts spilling all over the bedroom floor, Gordon.
Well, it's tough, ain't it? On my side, at least I had a go.
Gordon, you are absolutely insane, but I appreciate your call this morning.
Okay, Ian, thank you for your call.
Ta-ta. I love Gordon, but he's bonkers. He's bonkers, isn't he? People die because of principles, right? I don't want to die for principles. You don't want it to say on your gravestone, he died at the age of 41, but he had principles. 03453 009956.
Iain Lee.
On BBC WM.
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
We'll talk about the Green Party in a bit. They're having their conference in Birmingham today. Do the Greens really serve a purpose anymore? We'll talk about those in a bit. Marie's in Cosley. Morning, Marie.
Morning. You're naughty, aren't you?
Yeah, I was a little bit naughty there. Yes, I was. That was. We both enjoy the sport of it, I think. So good for him.
I think so.
What you got for us today, Marie?
Well, I don't think you're a coward. I think things just happen on the spur of the moment. You either pile in or you stand back. It depends, and you can't say what you do. Because unless it's happened, you can't really say what you do. I've just got a story about my daughter. I'm laughing now because it was years ago.
What happened to your daughter?
When she was 12, she borrowed her brother's bike without permission. Went to the local shop. Yeah, it was brand new, BMX. Went to the local shop, left it outside. And as she came outside, somebody was getting on it. She said it was a man. He was probably a teenager. She leapt on his back and came back with his sweatshirt.
Oh, blimey. Really?
Yeah, it was just a spur of the minute thing, and I think it was the fear of telling her brother about the bike that took over. But she came back with a sweatshirt, and it was a large sweatshirt. When the police came, they gave her a tongue-in-cheek telling off about having a go. But it's just the spur of the minute.
What did you say to her, Marie? Did you say that she was a bit silly, or did you congratulate her?
Both. Yeah, I said she was silly because anything could have happened, but she had a go and she remains the same. I think she'd still have a go, to be fair.
I mean, I don't know. If I saw let's take it out of the house for a second, because you have done with that story about the bike. If I saw an old woman if I saw a woman or someone getting roughed up, no, I can be specific. If I saw a woman being...
Somebody.
I was going to say somebody, but I don't think I'd do it for a bloke necessarily. And I don't know why. If I saw a woman getting roughed up for their handbag or their purse, I would weigh up I would weigh things up, and I would probably get involved. But if it was a bloke, and this is why I hesitated, if it was a bloke, I don't think I would get involved. And I don't know why. That's just kind of the knee-jerk reaction I have, thinking out loud.
Well, I think if it's two blokes fighting, you don't know the circumstances, do you? But if you saw somebody being attacked like an old lady or something.
Yeah.
Well, my sister-in-law piled into a domestic, and she actually came off worse because the woman turned on her.
Listen, I was about to say, I've done that, and I know loads of people who've done that. I've seen a bloke having a fight with his girlfriend late at night, and it's not been... I've seen it a couple of times, and it's not been physical. It's been a little bit pushy and very shouty, and she's been in tears. And I've done this before. I've stepped in and said, "Oi, mate, calm down a bit." And you're right, she's had a go at me. Get out of it, none of your business.
Yeah, that's traditional.
It's traditional, Marie. Thank you. 03453 009956. Yeah, I see a bloke attacking a woman in the street, trying to snatch her handbag. I get involved. I see a bloke attacking another bloke in the street, trying to snatch his man bag or his laptop or his purse. Some blokes have got purses. I wouldn't get involved. I haven't got a purse, no. Do you remember? I remember when, 26 years ago, when I was 15 years old, ladies and gentlemen, it was the time in my life when... It was the time in my life when students were having, like, French exchange students. I didn't have one, I couldn't be bothered. But you'd have a French exchange student come over, and all the blokes had purses. All the blokes... And we're going, oh, look at those! And now you see British blokes with purses. Where has it all gone wrong? Who's been there the longest? Dave has. Morning, Dave.
Morning.
Have you got a purse?
Purse? No, I've got a wallet, mate.
Yeah, a wallet. Because you do see some fellas with purses.
Yeah.
Do you carry a man bag?
Not really. I carry a handbag now.
How do you get your stuff from one place to the other? Do you just like have it in a Sainsbury's bag or something?
I've got a pair of big arms.
He carries it. Good for you. Well done. Dave, what have you got for us?
Well, basically, I mean, I sent you a text in saying if anybody broke into my house, good luck to them. They got me to contend with, and they got me dog.
What dog you got?
A Japanese Akita.
And they're the ones that look like wolves, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's very, very, very protective. She's just there for barking. Just a deterrent.
And you say good luck to them. What have you got a weapon or something that you would use?
Well, I wouldn't use a weapon, but I'd use my hands. If you get into my house, you ain't getting out.
But Dave, and it's all it's all right being the big man on the phone and talking about it. But if
it's knowing your limitations, isn't it? I mean, obviously, if you're a single woman, you're upstairs on your own. To me, them people are scum, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you break into an house, like there's old people there or women there with kids. You're breaking into a person's house, man. They've had to work hard for what they've got.
But
you know what I mean?
But Dave, it's just things. It's just
things. But at the end of the day, if you get broken into, it's something you're never going to get over. If you're a single woman living on your own, you're never going to get over that. Every time you hear the door creaking, I think somebody's going to come into your house.
Oh, I don't think. You talk about single women. I don't think I'd get over it. I'd be terrified. But whether you attack them or not, Dave, they have been in your. If they get into your house, that's happened. Okay.
Nobody's saying attacking them. What I'm saying to you is, you're going to get in. You ain't getting out.
Well, you couldn't...
I'll keep you there, mate, till the police got there.
Okay, I was about to say, because you wouldn't be allowed to kill them. You know that, don't you?
Well, you ain't going to be that daft, I mean. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's knowing your limitations, isn't it? I mean, obviously, if you're not that way inclined, you're not going to try and do anything like that, are you? Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if your family's in that house, like you said yourself, you're there to protect that family.
And that's it. If they started walking towards my boys' bedrooms...
Yeah.
Then I would get involved. But if they're just walking to my DVDs...
But Ian,
I'll get a black bag.
You got a missus at you, and you're giving them about your handbag. Best thing to do for you is get a black mask, put the black mask on, leather one, put a thong on, and when you see them at the bottom of the stairs, shout down to them, switch the light on. I've waited 20 years for somebody to come break into my house like this.
Dave, thank you very much indeed. What a beautiful... I haven't got a black leather mask, no. Not anymore. Gosh, there's a beautiful image there you've put in our minds, Dave. 03453 009956. I seem to be a lone voice here. And it's all right being Billy Big Bananas on the radio. Or if they got in my house, they'd never get out. I'd sort them out. I'd teach them a lesson. But really, when they're there, I suspect you wouldn't. Give us a call on that. And also, what have you got under your bed? Weapon-wise or otherwise? We've had someone with a knife under their pillow, baseball bat under their bed. Producer Joe's got a rolling pin. A rolling pin. Have a quick look. What's under your bed? 03453 009956. It's 9:45. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lisanne.
Thank you very much, Ian. Well, as you're heading out at the moment, it's still looking pretty steady. Key routes around Birmingham city centre are starting to build up for the Suffolk Street Queensway as you're making way from Paradise Circus to the Newmarket Street stretch to the Queensway Tunnel area. But other than that, we're in pretty good shape. As you're coming in for the Five Ways Island, it's looking okay for you. Motorway-wise, the M5's looking a lot better now. It was struggling from junction 2 to 1 earlier, but it's cleared through now. And the M6 and M42 are both running steadily for you if you're making your way out in that direction. If you're heading out on public transport at the moment, it's all running fairly steadily on time. There's no delays or cancellations reported from the departure boards. But if you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
Middleton, Mile O, Moseley, Oldbury, Pattingham. Have your say across the West Midlands. BBC WM 95.6.
We're talking about telepathy after 11, OK? Apparently it's been proved that it's real. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's been proved that it's real. I've just been told that Uri Geller's coming on the show after 11. Brilliant. I love Uri. He is the world's biggest bender of spoons. And he's bent a spoon for me before. I've seen him bend a spoon. It's an amazing trick. Looking forward to that. Mo's in Tamworth. Morning, Mo.
Hold on.
What?
Hello.
What are you doing? Were you on the loo or something?
No, I'm soaking something in the bowl in the sink, and I was on the other side of the kitchen.
What are you soaking?
Well, I've had some painting work done in the last few weeks.
Beautiful.
And I've just been doing some ironing and found that I've got a little bit of paint on the bottom of my dressing gown.
Oh, no.
So trying to remove
That
it.
won't come off.
I'm getting there.
Really?
Yeah, perseverance.
What? Does your house still smell of fresh paint, or is that gone now?
No, it was a low aroma paint.
I tell you, the best decorating smell in the world, and it only lasts for an evening.
Uh-huh.
And you only get it once every 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
When you get a new carpet laid.
Oh, I've had that too.
Oh, beautiful. It's the best smell when they lay the carpet and you come in that evening from work and you get it, and it's like being in Allied Carpets. Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
I love it.
Me too. I wish it would last.
What you get all these poncy white musks and vanilla and blueberry and cranberry smells, and you get these. You don't get air freshener anymore, do you? You get these sticks, little sticks in a bottle.
Yeah.
And basically they're wet sticks. Why don't you get fresh carpet smell or bonfire smell?
Oh, I'm with you there.
Or wet grass?
Yes.
I'd have a bit of that.
Or morning dew.
Morning dew. Clean sheets?
Yes.
Or wet tarmac?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Now, this is a lovely conversation.
Isn't it, Mo? I'm disarming you because I know you want to have a pop at me.
Well, I hope you're not going to disarm my time allowed. That's my main worry.
You've got all morning if it's any good.
Pardon?
You've got all morning if it's any good, Mo.
Oh, okay, then. You'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, I will be.
Okay. What it is you were talking earlier about if you had a burglar in your house and you would sit there and say, well, just take what you want because I'm fully insured.
Yes.
I'm not going to take you on. No.
That's the right answer, isn't it? That's the right thing to do in that situation.
Well, I'm not sure because... Take that a little bit further, and I haven't had a great deal of time to think about this, so bear with me.
Let's think about it together. Go on.
Okay. What it is if everyone thought that about a burglar, burglars would have a field day because they know they're going to go. The job is going to go unchallenged, and then what good eventually would be insurance because the insurance companies would draw back.
Well, your first thought in that chain of thoughts is incorrect.
Why?
Well, because burglars wouldn't have a field day. Because
why not?
Well, because people still have locks and people still have alarms. By me saying I wouldn't challenge a burglar, you can't then follow that logic through to burglars burgling everybody.
Yes, I can, because that is exactly what you're saying.
No,
there probably are a lot of people out there that agree with you. They're not coming on. I'm coming on like others because I'm challenging you. But
not very well.
You are giving burglars a field day because once they feel that whatever they do in your house, even by entering your house, is going to go completely unchallenged.
Well, it's not going to go. It will go unchallenged as much as I won't physically get involved. Okay, but it will go challenged.
You're moving the goalposts.
No, that's what I've said the whole time. I'm not going to physically challenge them. It will be challenged in that as soon as they've gone, I'm going to call the police. So I'm challenging them in that respect.
But more often than not, you know very well, most burglars don't get caught. I mean, a lot of people today are lucky if they get the police to come out to them.
Well, then that's not me giving them the field day.
It is.
No, it's not. That's the police. If that's the case, that's the police. First
it's
of
you
all,
and the police.
It's not me. First,
it is because you.
Oh, okay.
I
tell you what.
And burglars
No.
now are listening here.
Yeah. You're right, Mo. I tell you what, Mo. So that burglars don't have a field day, I'll be a martyr and I'll let them stab me in the stomach. Shall I? Over a flipping telly.
No.
It's not worth it.
No, but that's the wrong way. But yours is the wrong way.
Okay,
as
then
well.
you. Okay. What's the right way, Mo?
Well, the right way is what you've already said. Get yourself as secure as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a burglar alarm. I'm lucky enough to be able to afford a burglar alarm.
Yeah.
I've got really, really good. We had a new front door fitted. Got really good locks. Got locks in all the windows. The windows are always locked.
Well, if you'll pardon the pun, you're probably safe as houses. But
yeah, probably.
But Ian, you said if anyone did get in,
yes,
you would sit there and you.
What do you want me to do? Bit of kung fu? Want to get my nunchucks out and have a fight with them? It's not going to happen,
Mo.
Mo.
If I had kung fu training, I wouldn't hesitate to use it, and I'm a female.
Oh, I've heard of them. I've read books about them. but Mo, seriously, tell me. So stop it. Come on, you're supposed to be. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
Have you got asthma?
I'm trying to stifle my laugh.
I can hear a dog trying to get out in the background. Okay, so what is the right thing to do then?
I don't think there is a right thing to do. I think you've already said that all of us today have to have as good a security as we can possibly afford to buy. That is the best thing to do.
Yeah, I've done that.
But I did hear, I think it was a couple of months ago, according to the crime situation stats, that burglary is on the increase again.
Right.
So
you're going to... Would you tackle a burglar? Hello?
I would have to weigh up.
Oh, you're giving them a field day. They're going to find out there's Easy Mo in Tamworth, don't mean it like that, and they'll be round every other week.
No, Ian, listen. Now, listen. I pride myself in having good perception of people. I can kind of, more often than not, look at someone and weigh up what kind of a person, what kind of reaction I might get. If I share them, I'm not scared.
What do your good perception skills tell you about me?
About you?
Yeah.
That you've got a very good mind.
Yeah, that's right.
You're very good. You're very intelligent.
Good looking. Yeah.
I would say you were in between.
What?
You're not really good looking, but you're not really ugly either. But you've got an interesting face, and I think for me.
Mo, we seem to have lost you there. I do apologise. An interesting face. Flippin' heck. Not weird, producer Joe. Mo, thank you very much indeed. I'm only moving on because I want to get another couple of calls in before 10 o'clock. Let's go to Mike. Morning, Mike.
Hello?
Mike, what have you got for us?
Yes, I've thought through this scenario many times. But I've always come through at the very end, and my thoughts have been I'd sooner be in prison for life for murdering someone in my house than be at home with a dead wife and grandchildren because I had not done anything.
Well,
did you get that?
Yeah, I did get that. You've
only got one life.
Yeah.
And if I hear someone in my house, especially on the stairs, as far as I'm concerned, it's a deadly poisonous cobra coming upstairs.
Oh, blimey.
And my wife and children.
Yeah, you can't murder a burglar.
Well, let's put it this way. I just said to you, I'd sooner spend my life in prison than have a raped dead wife and children
again,
than be at home free because I didn't stop the burglar coming up and murdering my wife and children.
Again, enough of the dead wife and children. We have the image, but Yes. If there were burglars who were walking towards my boys' bedrooms, and I suspect... No, not even if I suspected. If there were burglars walking towards my boys' bedrooms, then I would risk my life to protect them. Without a shadow of a doubt, Of course I would do that.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. I would do everything within my power. I would give my life to protect my children. And I think any parent would do that.
Yes.
But if they said to me, look, we know you got your boys upstairs. We're not going to go upstairs if you do as you're told. Then I'd let them take the telly.
Well, first of all, obviously, when I got out of bed, I'd thump round the bedroom so they know someone had got up, and in theory, they should run.
Yeah.
That was my first self-defence.
Just go downstairs, Mike. Unplug the telly for them. Unplug. I'm assuming you're a PlayStation man. Unplug the PlayStation. Give it to them. Give them your DVDs and say, off you go, lads. Why would you not do that?
I'm thinking that, I'll say you've only got one life. You might have real idiots down there.
Yeah.
And as soon as you've seen their faces, we'll kill this bloke. He's seen my face.
Most burglars...
You cannot gamble with your life.
Most burglars are opportunists. They're normally drug addicts, not in any way to protect them, but they haven't got the strength or the wherewithal. They don't want to murder you. Most of them don't, and it does happen, and it's horrible when it happens. Most of them don't want to murder you. They want to get a couple of £100 worth of stuff. Let them take it. It's not worth it. I don't want you to be in prison, Mike.
No, but there's the chance that there might be some maniac idiot there with a big machete who's come in for something. He hasn't come in to murder me or my family, but situations get out of control, don't they?
Mike, listen, what have you got under your bed, Mike?
Nothing.
Good for you. Malcolm's in Stourbridge. Morning, Malcolm.
Morning, Ian. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. What would you like to say?
Yeah, basically, I sent a text in earlier about stuff under your bed. I've got half a broom handle and a couple of iron bars.
Those are for defensive measures, are they?
Yeah, I mean, we got burgled over 10 years ago in a different property, and my wife didn't like it, and we ended up moving.
Yeah, this is the thing that I've heard from people on the show today and people in real life. How did that make you feel? How did you feel being at home in that house after it had been invaded by burglars?
Well, we were lucky because we were actually out at the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that just left me really angry because it was our first property. We'd saved up. We'd only just not long had the telly, bits and bobs. And, somebody else has just taken it. And they're probably just going to sell it for £20 just to get money for drugs or whatever.
Having the iron bar... I don't know why you'd need 3 weapons, but having the iron bars and the broom handle under your bed, does that make you feel better and more comfortable?
Probably a little bit happy. I actually keep a torch on the side as well, just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I couldn't get my son out of bed, put him in his wheelchair, and then put him in the wardrobe. It'd be a bit awkward, so I'm prepared to defend what I've got.
Well, you've just introduced, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to have to move on in a minute, Malcolm, but you have just introduced another factor into the conversation. You mentioned your son being in a wheelchair. Does that change things if there is somebody in the house who is less able, who is more vulnerable, perhaps? Does that change the attitude of the homeowner, perhaps?
I think it would. I mean, the thing is, my son's bedroom's after our bedroom, so they'd have to come past our bedroom, and I'd defend that, whatever I had to do, to be honest.
Malcolm, I appreciate your call. We're out of time in this hour. Thank you. I'm surprised by the lack of people agreeing with what surely is common sense, OK? Yeah, if the burglars are going to go to my kids, then boy, oh boy, it's going to kick off. If they're just going for my telly, my CDs, my cash... Well, you know what? You can have it.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
can still call in about that. Coming up in the next hour, the Green Party. Is there really any point in them these days? But before all of that, let's get the latest news. Here's Nicole Pullman.
A strike by air traffic controllers in Italy has caused delays and cancellations for thousands of air passengers. The 4-hour walkout begins at 11:30. Ryanair and EasyJet have cancelled more than 150 flights. British Airways says some of its services will also be disrupted. The travel editor of the independent newspaper, Simon Calder, says the air traffic controllers are unhappy about plans to introduce a single airspace policy for Europe.
It's basically handled by the same organisation all the way through. You remove the frontiers, and proponents say it's not just cheaper, you need fewer air traffic controllers, it's also safer because there's less handing over. However, the air traffic controllers, who realise this involves job losses, say no, any reduction in the number of people looking at the skies is bound to impact safety.
A man is due in court about now, charged with murdering an elderly widow who was found beheaded in Edmonton in North London. Palmyra Silva, who was 82, was found dead in the back garden of her home on Thursday. Nicholas Salvador, who's 25, has also been charged with attacking a police officer. A missing Warsaw teenager has been found after a police search. Abby Bronson left her family home in Great Bar on Thursday night to go for a walk and didn't come back. Police mounted a search for the 14-year-old and she was found by officers 24 hours later. There's a warning that huge numbers of large Spanish slugs, some of which are 6 inches long, are attacking the flower beds and vegetable patches of Britain. Experts say a wet and warm summer has provided ideal conditions for them to thrive. Dr. Iain Bedford studies insects. He says the Spanish slugs have a stomach-churning diet.
Quite common to see them eating dead animals, dog excrement, a whole range of different plants which you normally wouldn't find slugs attacking. So it's all pretty gruesome, and we had these slugs identified as being an invading species called Orion vulgaris, the Spanish slug, which had got into Norway about 30 years ago and caused havoc over there as well.
Football and Walsall try again for their first league win of the season. They play Colchester at the Banks's Stadium this afternoon, live on BBC WM. The Saddlers are still without a number of first-team regulars because of injury, with Ashley Grimes the latest to join that list. Despite those problems, the Walsall defender James O'Connor is convinced they should be doing much better, but knows how competitive this division is.
Throughout the league, you've probably got 15, 16 teams will be frustrated with their start because they think they should be doing better, because I think in this division most of the teams think if they can put a run together they can be right up there come the end of the season. I don't think it's like the Premier League where you have like a top four, or do you know what I mean? I think it's a bit different. I think you have to go into each game believing you can win, and I think that's what we do here, which makes it even more frustrating for us.
The weather brightening up by this afternoon with some warm sunny spells. The top temperature 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit today. Tonight becoming dry with clear skies, a cooler night though. Minimum temperature 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. I'm really excited. Producer Joe has played a blinder. We're getting Uri Geller on after 11 o'clock to talk about telepathy. OK, Iain, I want all of your listeners to pick... Oh, Nicole got him. Excellent, Nicole, thank you. I want all of your listeners to pick up their broken watches and we are going to make them work. I want you all to shout, work! He'll do that. I love Uri Geller. He's such a nice bloke, and he's bonkers, and he's wonderful. Your stories on telepathy, please. We're carrying on this conversation. Front page of the Mirror, it's in lots of other papers. Have a go, Grandad. Fights off 3 armed burglars. Well done. Very brave. I suggest he was a little bit stupid. And, it's an amazing story. It's well worth a read. Andrew Adamson, 59, refused to back down despite being battered with a crowbar and threatened with a razor. I just think, guys, it's possessions. Take what you want. Also, this hour, the Green Party. They're having their party conference in Birmingham, here, today, this weekend. What's the point of the Greens? 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 00
9956.
BBC WM 95.6.
The Greens will speak to a Green councillor, but they're formed in 1990. And I remember, so I would have been 17, yeah. And I remember they're an exciting new party that promised so much. But they've never really taken off. They had a nice burst at the start, and they've never really taken off. And now the protest party, if you want to call them that, the fourth party, is UKIP. Some might even say UKIP is the third party. So the Greens, they don't have any influence anymore. They don't achieve anything. They've got one seat in the House of Commons, one seat in the House of Lords, 2 seats, 3 out of 64 in the European Parliament, no police and crime commissioners, 160 out of nearly 20,000 in local government. What's the point of the Greens? 03453 009956. Talking no have a go heroes. Also, what have you got under your bed? Iain has emailed in. Iain, under the bed, I've just looked. There's a very dusty suitcase under there. If I use that to defend myself, we'll both choke to death. Tony's in Droitwich. Morning, Tony.
Morning.
You've had a bundle with a burglar, have you?
Yeah.
What happened?
Broke into my house and he made a big mistake because I backed down for no one. And I gave him such a good pasting because he was trying to walk out with lots of gear that I put him down and I've just slung him out on the pavement outside the house and shut the door because I knew who he was and he knew who I was. So, and as far as I know, he never came back. And he moved out of the area as well.
Well, this is a new twist you brought into. Obviously don't mention any names. How well did you know this gentleman?
I knew who he was because it was from. I used to live in Southend at the time.
Yeah.
And you see him on the seafront.
So he wasn't a friend of yours. You didn't necessarily know his name, but you were familiar with his face in the area.
I knew who his name was.
Right.
He had quite a bad reputation for mugging old women and knocking females about.
Nice guy.
Well, he was, but he disappeared quite quickly.
And how did you know he was there? Did he wake you up? What was going on?
No, he actually knocked something over. He broke something, and I heard I'm a pretty light sleeper because he got in dead quiet.
Yeah.
And he knocked something over, a glass or something on the floor. So he grabbed what he could find and was making to open the door to get out, and I caught him.
And I'm going to ask it. What did you do to him?
Give him a good pasting. I mean, I really did give him a good
What does that mean,
over.
a good pasting? What does that mean?
I worked him over well. He went out with a lot of cuts and bruises, and I think I broke his hand as well.
So you punched and you kicked him?
No, I didn't kick him. I just punched him and I threw him around.
And what did the police say?
They ain't said work, so I didn't report it. What's the point? I taught him a lesson. He won't come back again.
That's not... But we can't all live by that attitude, can we?
The trouble is, the plods don't do nothing to them. They get away with murder burglars, and they don't get caught very often. So unless you deal with them, they'll still coming back, because even they go inside, they still come out and do it again.
Well, they never
learn.
Were you not scared that he wouldn't come back with some mates or something?
No.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. Gosh, is my reaction to that. He meted out some of his own justice, man. And obviously we don't condone that. I have to stress that. We don't condone or approve that. There'll be some of you going, well, serves him right. I can't buy into that. I cannot buy into that. 03453 009956. Right, moving on slightly, please. The Greens. What's the point of the Greens? Second day of the Green Party conference at Aston University in Birmingham. Climate change and education are on the agenda. In the West Midlands, there are now 25 Green councillors on 10 councils, but there's only one MP in the whole country. That's in Brighton. We can speak to Councillor Andy Hodgson, who's a Green councillor on Solihull Council. Morning, Andy.
Hello.
Andy, what's the point of the Greens?
Well, I think one of the issues is that someone's got to take the environment and climate change issues seriously, and the Greens certainly have that as part of their central policy. But it's also important to have a broader spectrum across the political spectrum, we're finding that the three main parties seem to be focusing more and more on the centre ground, and it's very difficult. Lots of people tell me, well, we can hardly differentiate between them. The other thing is that the Green Party focuses very much on local issues and trying to support local residents. And I think what's happened in the West Midlands witnesses that. People are looking for local support, regardless of the national situation, and it's actually reaping dividends because they can see that the Green Party members locally are very active and very supportive, and I think people are looking for an alternative.
Well, they are looking for an alternative, and they found it. They found it in UKIP, haven't they? That's the alternative party now, the fourth party.
Well, UKIP have got quite a good media coverage. I mean, that's one of the unfortunate things. Greens don't get the coverage that they warrant. But one of the problems with UKIP is that at the moment they haven't got elected members in. They're not in control of any councils across the country. So,
but they've only been going you've been going for 24 years, you guys, and you started off with a big burst. I think I may have voted Green at one point many years ago as an idealist youngster. But now, if you look at the figures, you've got one MP, you've got one person in the House of Lords, 3 European Parliament MEPs. 160 out of 20,000 in local government. That's nothing, is it?
Well, it isn't. But if you actually look at the trends, it's actually moving in the right direction. I mean, the growth in the West Midlands has been over the last 4 or 5 years. So I mean, that gives us a lot of confidence to carry on doing what we're doing. And the other important thing is one of the statistics that came out yesterday, which I was very pleased about, was membership across the country is growing. But the increase in the membership of young people has grown by 70% since the start of the year.
How many members have the Greens got?
18,000, which, in
the next general election next year, you may well hold on to your one seat. UKIP are probably going to usurp you. They're probably going to have their first MP with Douglas Carswell. He's got a massive lead in his area. Farage is going to stand. Others are going to stand. They're probably going to usurp you, aren't they?
Well, we've actually targeting specific wards. We're actually putting up more parliamentary candidates than we've ever done before, which is a measure of sort of our confidence and the support that we're getting.
Or naivety.
We're hoping that we've got 4 key targets which includes retaining Brighton seat, obviously, but we think they're all winnable.
When you first started, it could have been argued quite successfully, I think, that the major parties were a little bit not necessarily scared that you'd end up running the country, but they did take on board a lot of your kind of headline Green policies, didn't they? The Greens certainly had an influence.
Yes.
It feels like that influence has subsided over the last 10 years or so, and that you've gone back to being. I don't want to say a joke party because I think that's really unfair. But I will say, because I think that's how some people perceive you, don't they?
Well, I mean, I in the ward that I represent, I was the first ever Green councillor in that ward. But people within my ward actually appreciate what we're doing. So I think we actually operate on that basis, that we focus in certain areas, we put a lot of effort in, it reaps dividends, and we build up local confidence. And then that will follow on into winning more parliamentary seats.
Andy, are you at the conference today?
I will be. I'm not there yet. I was there yesterday, and I'll be there tomorrow.
What happens at a Green Party conference? Is it as dull as the other parties? Because I've been to a few, and they really are quite tedious, aren't they?
Well, yeah. It could be said. I mean, there are some sessions where there are workshops and debates on policy, which some people find quite interesting, others find them quite tedious. But we have fringe events where it's open to people to sort of follow a particular issue or a particular thread, and there's a lot of interest in those sorts of sessions. I mean, they cover. You've mentioned climate change and education. There are sessions on the NHS.
Very quickly, because I say quickly. Chris has just texted. No, so it's fine. Just time. Chris has texted in. Re the Greens. What's their policy on the NHS?
Right. We think that there's no place for privatisation in the NHS, so we're very keen to for the NHS to remain as much as possible as a public service for the public.
Andy, listen, we're going to move on because we're... Oh, no, hang on, I'm just being handed one more text for you. Look, you are popular. Iain, just look at Calais. This is why we need UKIP out of Europe. What do the Greens think of Europe? That's from Julia.
I think we actually see a need for us to actually be with Europe. If we were independent of Europe, then I think that we would hold a lesser position in the world. But I think we have to get the arrangements with Europe to our best advantage, and we're not in that place at the moment.
Andy, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Councillor Andy Hodgson, Green Councillor on Solihull Council. He's going to be at the conference today that's taking place in Aston University in Birmingham. Am I being harsh on the Greens? I think I probably voted for them in my idealistic teenage years. Am I being harsh? Very simple question. What's the point of the Greens? 03453 009956. BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lisanne.
Thanks very much. Well, we're still doing pretty well as you're making your way out and about today. Still busy in the city centre for journeys along Suffolk Street, Queensway, but it's just usual routine build-up for a Saturday morning. Looking pretty good on the motorway still. If you're heading M6, M5 and M42 way, they're all running well on the cameras and sensors for us. If you're heading out onto trains, there's a bit of delay on some lines in New Street. Nothing too significant, just the odd minute here or two, but generally things coping well as we head through the morning. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
So, on a Wednesday, what we do is Dilemma Day. I'll give you the email. I'll tell you what he says. Now, he says, 4 weeks ago, I married my long-term partner after a beautiful ceremony in Droitwich. Now, on Sunday, I found some emails on her iPad from another man. My world came crashing down.
My ex-wife, she actually cheated on me 3 or 4 times.
Something that you do in the heat of the moment because you're feeling unloved.
You can relate to this, can't you?
Yeah. I was married for 18 years. It come out, she was sleeping with my mate.
Caroline Martin.
Monday to Friday, 12 till 2.
BBC WM
95.6.
81333. Start your text WM if you want to. Morning, Iain. You're right. The Greens are dull, boring, and pointless. And then Chris continues. Just like your show, really. Roll on the next few hours when your rubbish show ends. Regards, Chris the Cabbie. Chris, you'll be pleased to hear. Still going to be here every Saturday between 9 and 12. And to add to that, from next Friday, going to be here 2 till 4 on Fridays. How cool is that, Chris? I hope you enjoy the show. Jay says, Iain, I would never vote for the Greens. They're a group of Morris-dancing, hippie-type druids who chant at the moon and put chickens on people's windscreens. There is no point in the Greens, I think. They served their purpose in the mid-90s when environmental issues were at the key and when it could be argued that the main parties weren't that bothered about the environment and that bothered about what's happening, to the ecosystem. And the Greens certainly had an influence on the big parties then. But we've all signed up to these agreements, these worldwide agreements now about getting our emission levels down. And reducing our carbon footprint. So the Greens' work is done, isn't it? They've done it. They've achieved what they wanted to achieve. So there's no point in them anymore. If you can phone up and defend them, boy oh boy, please do. I know if you're a hardcore fan, you'll be at the conference today. But 03453 009956. Am I being a little bit harsh on the Greens? Would you ever vote for them? I suggest a vote for the Greens is a wasted vote. It's probably a wasted vote these days. Because you're not going to get another Green MP. That's not going to happen, is it? I don't think so. And you're better off getting involved in the UKIP Labour Tory battle, aren't you? And I'm kind of getting my head around the fact that maybe UKIP are indeed the third party. And the Lib Dems are, well, they're going to do terribly in the election next year, aren't they? It's going to be a really interesting election. And I've never said that before. I never have done, because they're always quite boring general elections. The next one's going to be awesome, though, isn't it? It's going to be exciting. 03453. No, it will be exciting. Don't pull that face, Producer Joe. I think the next one's going to be... You do like them. You're right, actually. The next one's going to be proper exciting because it's almost random. Anything could happen. 03453 009956. You can email as well. ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. On the subject of burglars, have a go heroes. Have a go heroes or have a go plums. Richard's in Erdington. Morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian. Long time, long speak to you.
Long time, long speak to you, sir, whatever that means. Yes. What you got for us?
Right, I wouldn't say your show's bad, mate. I think it's quite a good comedy show sometimes because, you know how to warn people at certain moments and get the show really buzzing. Well done to you there, sir.
Thank you, Richard.
Right, I mean, burglars, when somebody breaks into your house, you act on impulse end of the day. If you've got the one person there, one burglar, you might act on impulse. It's at the moment when it happens, mate. Because don't forget, burglars target your property. And as you know, the statistics say, when you get burgled once, there's a chance you get burgled twice as well.
Oh.
Now, I had this my house wasn't burgled, but my car was burgled into.
Yeah.
I saw the person in the car. I went up, and another guy came up. And I looked, I said, carry on, it's insured. And I would have faced the person by one, but two, three, you never know,
Hang
mate.
on a second. So you're walking towards your car, and what you saw a smashed window and a fella inside?
Yeah.
And what was he doing? Getting the stereo or something? Going through the glove compartment?
Silly thing. What I did was I left my wallet in the car.
Oh, Richard.
So easily done. You ring a rush and everything, and went.
So you went up to him, and you would have tackled him on your own, on his own, but then someone else.
I think what he was doing, because what the hell's he doing? And I mean, if he's about 8 foot, man, he could carry on. You know what I mean? But it's on the impulse, isn't he? I mean, when I saw another guy with him, that was it. I backed off.
All right. What about
me a coward? Whatever. But
well, this is it. There are people listening, Richard, who have said this morning that what you're doing there, that is giving burglars carte blanche to do what they want. That you are ruining society, and you're a coward.
Well, like you said, mate, life you can't replace, items you can.
What about if they were in your house?
Right. If I was in my house, mate, I look round, carry on, mate, 'cause I ain't got much anyway, because, like I said, I can't move around much with my disability.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to burgle somewhere, they've got a sad life, and let them carry on, like you're saying, what's it worth? Why die for it?
You're the
over items.
Richard, you are the first person this morning to speak sense.
But the thing is, Ian, as everyday life, you act on impulse.
Yep.
That second, don't you?
Yep.
Now, what I just said to you, God forbid, if it happens to me, say tomorrow or next week, it might be a bit different. It's how your mind works, isn't it? I spoke to you before about mental health and things like that.
Yeah.
I might approach about it's all how you're feeling that day as well.
Yeah. Richard, going off on a slight tangent, what's under your bed?
What's under my bed?
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face, a floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Richard's here all week. Thank you, Richard. 03453 009956. Go and have a look what's under your bed. Keep it clean, because there'll be some of you that, oh dear, it doesn't even bear thinking about, does it? Producer Joe's got a rolling pin. We've had someone who's got a knife under their pillow, a snooker cue under their bed, baseball bat under their bed. Someone had a broom handle and 2 crowbars. Why would you need 3 weapons? And also, is there not a worry? Is there not a worry that the burglar's going to get one of those weapons and batter you with it? Burglar comes in, no weapons. Oh, look, there's a crowbar under here. Bosh. They might do. 03453 009956. Mark's on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Hello, Ian.
What's under your bed?
Nothing, because it's a divan and you can't get nothing under there.
There we go. He pwned me, ladies and gentlemen. He pwned me. What would you like to say, sir?
Right, now, on the subject of burglars,
Yes.
we was looking after step-in-law's house while I was on holiday. I had my daughters over the weekend, so there's 3 of them. We checked on the house. Everything was fine. We only live around the corner. We left that house, and I don't know what my daughter said, but can we go back to Nanny's? I said, well, come on then. I've just got this feeling.
Well, she said that.
Only 12.
Yeah.
So we went back round, and my partner said, the light's on. I said, well, you must have left it on. He says, no, I didn't. So we rushed to the house, and it was ransacked, completely ransacked. So I phoned the police. I'd come out to phone the police, and I saw these 2 people.
Yeah.
Walking up the road, only, I'd say they were late teens, but they were struggling with something. I went, well, what they? I went, oi! And whatever they were struggling with, they put it down and they ran.
Yeah.
Gut instinct, I ran after them. Yeah? One went that way and one was a girl. And I chased the slowest, which was the girl, obviously. But I left it then because I've got the property on the floor, and it was one of those mini safes.
Okay, yeah.
So I brought it back to the house. The police came within a couple of minutes. It was like the Sweeney. There was about 5 police cars.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. I phoned my mother-in-law. I said, I've got some bad news. You've been burgled. Okay, not a problem. They drove up through the night. I was only in Cornwall. Drove up through the night, saw them in the morning. I said, I'm ever so sorry. We did, we were there, and they went right in the corner. We come back, and it done. Says, don't worry about it. I'm insured. As long as everybody's all right.
Beautiful.
It's nothing to worry about.
Beautiful.
But they went through the insurance, and obviously they wrote everything down that was stolen.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit. I think the 2 that left the house, they must have been part of 4 or even 6.
Right.
They go about in groups, the drug addicts. So, she said, don't worry, they got everything replaced brand new. Yeah, so that's about $7,000.
Perfect. Wonderful. That's what insurance is for.
That's what insurance is for. Now, we went down to the police station and did a photo fit of the 2 that we saw. I saw her face to face, and I saw the young kid face to face. Yeah, I picked them out, and my partner picked them out because she saw them as well, because they was under those new lights, new street lights. They're not like the old ones. They're really bright.
Okay, yeah. There are new street lights. No one's mentioned this to me before.
They're like a really bright...
Are they like LEDs or something?
Yeah, they're similar like that.
I don't go out at night time. I'm normally in bed. Seriously, because I do a breakfast show, so I get up at 4. So I'm normally in bed at 8 o'clock in the evening, so I've not seen them. Okay, go on.
Yeah, but they got off because there wasn't enough evidence.
Oh.
Because the police said that, well, because it was out in the house...
You couldn't prove that they'd been in the house.
In the street.
Yeah, oh, man.
Oh, my God. That's what I thought. Oh, my God. But if it was me in my own house, if we was in that house,
yeah,
say, stopping the night, and somebody broke in, your instant reaction, obviously, is to get up out of bed to see what was the noise. I'd go downstairs. If I saw somebody in the house, the instant reaction to them is 2 things.
Yeah.
If they're a seasoned burglar, my mate told me this is in the police. If they're a seasoned...
He's gone. He just disappeared. Mark, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost you. I switched you to another line. My apologies. Go on. There's 2 things.
They'll do anything to harm you, and then they'll leave with what they've got.
Yeah.
If they're an opportunist, they'll the kind of phrase, they'll poo themselves and run.
Yes.
And they'll try anything to get out the house. Yeah?
Yeah.
The best thing to do is come down, make loads of noise, shout, scream, whatever, they will run. Yeah? Take what you like, mate.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the basic thing.
Mark, listen, you mentioned an interesting thing there, that your 12-year-old daughter said, we should go back to Granny's house.
Yeah.
Right, with no... And it kind of links on to what we're going to be talking about after 11 o'clock. Kind of.
Right.
We're going to be talking about psychic powers and telepathy.
Yeah.
Do you think that in that case, was it just a coincidence, or do you think that your daughter tapped into a greater power?
Might have... She's very... she has that sense. She knows what's going on. I don't know whether she's got ESP or anything, but it's just something at the back of your head that you know there's something wrong. It's something in the air, something in your mind. It just triggers.
And does she? Is that the only example of her doing that, or does she kind of regularly say something a little bit odd, and it kind of clicks later?
It's just it's something odd. She won't go into a house. Say if I went to a mate's house, she'll want to leave if she feels uneasy. I don't know whether it's a ghost thing or...
Mark, listen, thank you for that. Thank you, I appreciate that. An interesting call in loads of different ways. 03453 009956. We'll be talking about telepathy and psychic powers after 11 with Uri Geller. You know my thoughts on it, guys. It's all a load of old guff, isn't it? Yes. Of course it is. Well, I say that. There's an article. It's in some of the papers. It's in the Telegraph, which is a sensible paper, not a sensational paper. For the first time, scientists have been able to send a simple mental message from one person to another without any contact between the two, thousands of miles apart in India and France. Oh, calm down a bit. They weren't sending each other secret, messages. Listen to this. Research led by experts at Harvard University shows technology can be used to transmit information from one person's brain to another's, even, as in this case, if they are thousands of miles away. Ah, right. Hang on a second. Then we get to the next sentence. It's kind of technological realisation of the dream of telepathy, but it's not magical. Right, hang on. Technological. Science. Giulio Ruffini, a theoretical physicist from Barcelona, says, We are using technology to interact electromagnetically with the brain. Basically, they wired these two people up to computers on their heads. They got them to say a simple greeting like hola or ciao. A computer translated the words into digital binary code. That's the ones and the zeros, guys. What? This is what people are actually... people still get cancer and AIDS, yeah? Why don't you go and investigate that instead of this rubbish? Listen to this. This message was then emailed from India to France and delivered via robot to the receiver who, through non-invasive brain stimulation, my favourite kind of brain stimulation, could see flashes of light. So basically, they sent an email to someone's head via a robot. I suggest that Giulio Ruffini and the team at Harvard University may have wasted, millions of dollars on this. It sounds like complete and utter guff. We'll speak to Uri Geller later on, who will no doubt... And I've seen him do some brilliant tricks. I've seen him do some cracking... We'll speak to him after 11. He's always good value. Iain, I want your listeners to get their broken watches and we're all going to shout work at the same time. If he does that, don't tell him I was taking the mick out of it earlier on, will you? 03453 009956. Your thoughts on telepathy, psychic powers. We've talked about ghosts before. They don't exist. We've not really talked about psychic phenomenon. And our last caller there was talking about his daughter tuning into something that made her say, we should go back to Gran's house. Now, had that been my boys, I would have ignored them and said, no, We're not. But she was tuned into something, apparently, if we believe the story at face value, that encouraged them to go back, and there was a burglary taking place. Your examples, please. I mean, I feel silly saying this because it's, you know, it's like me saying, when has voodoo happened for you, for real? You know, when did you have a conversation with your dead nan? It's nonsense. It doesn't happen. But we'll put it out there and we'll see. Your examples, please, of psychic phenomenon. 03453 009956.
Penn, Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
Let's go to Mohammed in Edgbaston. Good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning.
We've reached that stage in the show where Mohammed comes on. What can I do for you, sir?
Yeah. Well, you know, you've been going on about this burgling thing, like, you know, and
yes.
you just give them the stuff, like, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
I do it. Listen,
okay.
I do it through gritted teeth, Mohammed, but I do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you know, I mean, if three people kick my door open, like, you know, and I'd be a little bit apprehensive at fighting three of them, like, you know. I mean, I'm only a small guy for a start off, anyway.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm thinking of is, you know, when you say, "Oh, I've got insurance and all this," like, you know, well, you know, insurance companies will do anything in the world not to pay you out.
Yeah, of course. You've got to fight them a bit. Yeah, of course.
So if you go to bed one night and you forget to lock a window, and all of a sudden you come downstairs, and guys are in your room, and they've climbed through, and you say to them, "You can have the stuff. Are you covered?"
It has to. It doesn't have to be ground floor windows that are locked.
I think all windows have to be locked.
I'd have to check the policy.
All windows.
Well, I'd lock all the windows.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always a possibility you could forget. Like,
no, don't forget. I've got kids. You can't forget when you've got kids. You've got to be bang on it.
Hey, come on, nobody's infallible.
Well, but Mohammed, I'm as close as it comes to earthly perfection.
You know, I mean, I was saying to the girl when I phoned up, first of all, like, you know, I have a dagger beside my door. It's an ornamental dagger. It was given to me by a Chinese girl as a present.
Oh yeah, nice.
But it is nice.
I bet it's lovely.
It's quite a nice looking dagger, like,
given to you by a Chinese girl.
And it looked like a dragon.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty sharp dagger. And my hallway is not very big, so if I reach for that, I mean, if I used it, it would go through them like going through butter.
Well, like a dagger a sharp dagger going through a person. Could you really stab someone, Mohammed?
If I thought I was threatened, my life was threatened, yeah, I could.
I was thinking about this bizarrely the other day. I had a long drive and I was bored. And I was thinking, could I murder someone? Here's a cheery thought.
No, that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, it is. But it started off with, could I murder someone? And then it went through the thought process of our next guest. By the way, must be thinking, what on earth have I got myself involved with? Don't worry, there is some kind of logic to this. And it then got through to, well, could I shoot someone? Could I stab someone? I would really, really struggle. If my boys were in danger, it's the thing I keep coming back to. Then yes, I could. Yeah. If I was in danger, I don't know. I would hesitate for that moment that you shouldn't hesitate for, and I'd be overpowered, I think.
You would be, because that's the thing they always warn you. The police always warn you. If you are going to do it, if you hesitate and they take that knife off you, or they take that hammer off you, or whatever, they will turn that on you, obviously, like, you know. But, I mean, there's not many people. I mean, I've had my door kicked open by somebody I knew and punched me in the face, and, you know, there was things going on. No, this is a long time ago, and there's things going on at a time which really had nothing to do with me. Well, I was overpowered by three of them, and I couldn't do a thing. You know, they could have done what they liked in that flat. They could have killed me. They could have easily killed me. They could have thrown me out the 9th floor window.
Mohammed, listen, I'm going to move on, and I'm reminded of something that happened to me and a friend of mine once, which I will tell you after the travel at 11:15. Why did I not think of it before? When I was in a house with my friend and a gentleman who was threatening to shoot us. How have I not remembered that story in connection with this? Have I told you that story before, Joe? No, OK. I will do that in about 6-7 minutes. 03453 009956. Moving on. And I hope my next guest is still there and hasn't been scared off by the ridiculous conversation we're having. The Good Funeral Awards are taking place in Birmingham today. Categories include Most Promising New Funeral Director, Coffin Supplier of the Year, and Best Alternative Hearse. It's part of the Ideal Death Show, and organisers say, though the subject matter may seem dark, they usually have more laughs than tears. I'm joined now by Charles Cowling, editor of The Good Funeral Guide. Morning, Charles.
Good morning, Ian.
The Good Funeral Guide. What on earth is that?
Good Funeral Guide, Ian, very simple. It's an information resource for people who need to arrange a funeral. We think to ourselves, I've got to do this, I've never done it before, I don't know anybody else who has. Here's a helpful website that gives lots and lots of information.
It's weird. It's one of those things that it's the only thing that's going to happen to all of us. And yet we don't sit and talk about it, do we? We don't say, right, this is what I want. Mum, what do you want when you die? How do you want this done? And whenever it happens, or at least the first time it happens, it comes as a real shock to the rest of the family, and they just don't know how to do a funeral.
No, that's perfectly true. We don't like to talk about root canal work either. I don't think it's particularly surprising that people don't want to, but it does mean that, I mean, it's not a nice thing to die. It's not a nice thing to have other people die. You know, it's a hard thing to talk about. Most uninviting topic. But when it does happen, it's important then that people can access good information.
The Ideal Death Show sounds a little bit macabre. What is that?
That
was a very, very Christopher Lee style cackle there, sir.
Yeah, no, it's a gathering of all the kind of thinking funeral people, and the nicest funeral people as well. We've got the most fantastic gathering of people here today. It's really, really friendly and really, really fun. And believe it or not, actually, funeral people do laugh an awful lot because if you work in an area like death, actually you need, humour is a very, very vital. Yeah, and we've got members of the public here as well, and nobody's wearing badges or anything. Nobody would know who is a member of the public or who is a member of the funeral trade, and people are just mixing and talking, and it's great. We've got lovely exhibitors. We've got people who look at different sorts of coffins, and they think, well, actually, the look of a funeral can be very forbidding, if not slightly frightening. But funerals need not have that look, need not have that feel. And if you can actually kind of, approach it a bit and satisfy your curiosity on various things, then it begins to look, well, not so bad.
It's demystifying it a bit, isn't it? Because whenever you see a funeral directors are normally these tiny little shops that sort of situated at the end of the high street, and it's not that obvious what they are. They're a little bit dark, a little bit, sombre, as I suppose they have to be. But this sounds like, well, you talk of having... Sorry, go on.
They don't have to be, Ian.
They generally are the ones I've seen.
Yes, no, they are, and especially in Brum, actually, which is very trad. And you forgot the tombstones in the window, Ian. You've got to have tombstones in the window with a few blue bottles with their feet in the air, lying on the floor around them. They look dreadful. They are very uninviting places. But actually, there are lots of funeral homes now that are bright and airy and staffed by human beings who don't wear terrifying black, and who take people as they find them and take people as they come, and it needn't be this terrifying interaction with a tribe of people who look so strange.
Charles, what's your funeral going to be like? I'm assuming if you work in the industry, A, you'll get a few discounts, and B, you've planned it.
I think I differ from people who say you should plan your funeral. I think you should talk about your funeral. I think you should let people know what you want.
Yeah.
But then when you snuff it, well, I think dying is a very good time to butt out. And then you've got to leave it to them, because they're the people who've got to handle your passing. And, we cannot guess what that's going to be. I like to flatter myself by thinking that my wife may be sad when I die. In fact, she may be delighted. It's for them to do what they need to do. I shall be inert and in a box, and frankly, I think it's a very good time for them to take over and do what they wish.
Isn't that interesting to hear that attitude? Because I don't think I've heard anyone say that before, and you're right, the funeral really is for the friends and family, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. Yes, I mean, I think the wishes of the person who's died should be respected. I mean, if they want to be cremated and not buried, then, we shouldn't bury them. But I mean, some people are incredibly modest and they say, I don't want anything at all, and they leave these instructions saying, I want absolutely nothing at all. And everyone's looking at these instructions thinking, well, we adored you, mate. We adored you. We want to do something fantastic. We're going to hire a football stadium. We don't want to have a quiet thing with 2 people there.
The Ideal Death show, whereabouts is it? It's happening today, isn't it? If people want to go, and they're at a loose end, where do they go?
They come down to Bourneville, which is very easily reached, and we're in the Beaches. The Beaches. It's a conference centre just off the middle. It's a lovely quiet spot, and. As I said, we've got this lovely exhibition, we've got all these lovely people, everyone's having a great time. And we've got some great speakers as well. We've got somebody talking about what does dying feel like. I bet everybody's... I bet everybody... We've got some very interesting scientific research on that. And, the short answer is that it's actually okay.
Charles, we're going to end it on that positive note. Can we get that person as a guest over the next couple of weeks? What does dying feel like? There's a phone-in. Charles, excellent stuff. I really appreciate your time. That's Charles Cowling, editor of The Good Funeral Guide. I've got to ask the question, what does dying feel like? 03453 009956. There we go. That's the best phone-in question ever. 10:45, BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel now. Here's Lisanne.
Thanks very much. Well, as you're heading out, traffic's still moving well in towards the city centre. It looks like it's better on the Queensway for you as you head towards Paradise Circus. Traffic seems to have eased off. It was quite busy earlier on in the morning. No major problems to be aware of for the motorway of the M6, looking fine. But if you're heading towards the M6 toll, delays likely because there's a closure. There's queuing traffic already building up. They've closed the junction T8 and T6 stretch on the southbound stretch, and the air ambulance has attended the scene as well. So maybe try and avoid that if you can. Otherwise, we'll try and keep you updated if you are in the queues, and the traffic will update you as we get more information for reopenings. You're not doing too badly for public transport services. They seem to be getting away to time. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
The voice of Birmingham in the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
If you want to give us a call, now is an excellent time. Why? We haven't got any calls. There we go. 03453 009956. I'm intrigued by our last guest, and there is a lecture going on to... If I wasn't doing Big Brother straight after this, I would actually go to a talk on what does dying feel like. How on earth do they know what it feels like? I have to put it out to you, dear listener. What does dying feel like? 03453 009956. I'm expecting not to get too many calls on that. It's one of those things I'm throwing out, and if we get one call on it, we'll be lucky. What we can talk about on the back of what Charles was saying there is, what is your funeral going to be like? It's interesting, isn't it? That's the first time I've heard somebody say, well, actually, the funeral's not about me when I die. It's for my wife and my friends and my family. It's up to them to decide. And it is, isn't it, really? It's for the people who are left remaining. When my dad was buried last year, yes, it was last year, or cremated, it was weird because we've kind of got lots of offshoots of family, lots of sisters and brothers and things all scattered around the place, and I didn't particularly know his wife at the end, but she very kindly and very generously said to me and my sister, would you like to choose the song to play your dad being taken into the crematorium? We're like, OK, blimey, yeah, thanks. And my sister sort of said, I'll let you choose, run it past me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So I deliberately picked a song that I knew would have me and everybody else in tears. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but I can never again listen to Hello Again by Neil Diamond. Oh, man alive. Walking into the crematorium and hearing that. And that's kind of how I want my funeral to... I want Daydream Believer by the Monkees, please, as I'm walking in. Thanks very much, guys. As I'm walking in. Yeah, that would be a sight, wouldn't it? But I want, and both producer Joe and I have discussed this, and we've agreed, we want people sobbing at our funerals. I don't want happiness and laughter. I want people sobbing. I cheat at my dad's funeral. I cheated a bit. I had to speak. Man alive, speaking at your dad's funeral, that's hard. Turns out that's really hard. Who'd have thought? and I choked up quite a bit. I managed to get it back on track. And now I got a few good stories in. I got the tears and laughter. I was playing the audience. The crowd were with me on this one. And then afterwards, it was really nice meeting lots of, your dad's friends and family and them telling stories and stuff like that. I want my funeral I want everyone in black. I want everyone sobbing. I want everyone miserable. I want people throwing themselves at the coffin as it's going through those curses. I want all of that stuff. Ideally, I'd like to be buried when it's raining and really muddy. Everyone's got to be in black. I want it to be miserable. It's a funeral. They're meant to be miserable, aren't they? All these people that have... I don't know, Let Me Entertain You played at their... Or Bring Me Sunshine. No. I want it slow and more... I may even go for the... is it the funeral march? Is that what it's... Dun, dun, dun. I may even go for that. 03453 009956. How would you like your funeral? And what does it feel like to die? Doreen?
Hello, dear.
Hello, my love.
I wanted to ask you two questions. But first, we're going to the dying. Everybody goes to sleep at night.
Yes.
You close your eyes. Nobody knows if you're going to wake up in the morning.
No.
To me, that is what death is.
Yeah, but hang on. But when you're asleep, you're dreaming.
Not necessarily. Everybody don't dream.
Everybody dream.
You do, but you can't remember your dream.
No, everybody dreams.
No, yes, but you can't always remember your dream.
I suppose that the dying thing, we'd all like to go in our sleep in old age, but I guess most people don't die like that. They die...
No, but I'm just saying, you said what death is. It's like you close your eyes at night and go to sleep, and I don't know, nor you don't, if you're going to open your eyes in the morning. To me, that's what dying is. You just go, and that's it. That's my interpretation.
And there's Doreen. There's nothing after death, is there? That's it.
I don't know. I vaguely believe in the spirit world, but then everybody's got their own ideas.
There's no evidence. The thing is, if there was evidence, right, that it existed, then I'd kind of okay, yeah. But there isn't, is there? And we'll be talking to Uri Geller about psychic powers after. There's no evidence for that. All of that stuff. We're here. If we're lucky, we'll get 70 years of good health. We listen to as much good music as we can. We be nice to people, and then that's it. And then it's switched off, and then it's someone else's turn.
Well, I'm telling you, you're saying about nice to people. Have you got a wife?
At the moment, yes.
Well, you're always on about your lads, your protectionist. You never ever say, I'll protect my wife as well. And somebody was in my house when I was listening to you. They said, I bet he's the type, if there was somebody in the house, he'd send his wife down.
Well, quite possibly. She's an independent...
But you never, ever give your wife, I'll protect my wife. It's always the boys, and I'll tell you this.
They're only 4... No, Doreen, they're 4 and 2 years old. She's 36.
They are. In years to come, if you put your boys first, when they leave the nest, you and your wife will become strangers.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Well, it may not take that long, Doreen.
No,
but listen, I'm joking. She's a strong, independent...
It might be, I'm independent, but
women's lib.
You don't forget, your kids are only lent. That's what my mother used to say.
But I'm going to protect...
They're only lent to you, they fly the nest.
Okay, all right, let's play this game, right? Have you got kids?
Yes.
Right, and have you still got a husband with you?
No.
Okay, let's go back in time. Your kids are little, your husband's there, right?
Yes.
There is an attacker has come to the house. He's going to kill someone.
Yes.
He's not leaving until he's killed someone.
Yeah.
He's going to go for the kids or your husband. Which one would you save?
Well, I should think my husband's big enough to protect himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, exactly. My wife's big enough to protect herself.
Yeah, but you always say, my husband would protect me as well, or try to. You always speak as though...
She'll be all right.
I thought to myself, he can't have a wife.
She'll be all right. Next, you'll be saying I should still be opening the door for her.
Yes, you should.
Oh, Doreen.
Yes, you should.
It's 2014. We don't open the door.
I don't care. My husband was a real gentleman.
Yeah,
he always walked... When you walked down the road with him, he always walked on the outside.
All right, okay.
And there we are.
I'm on a bus, right?
Yes.
I'm on the bus. I've got the last seat. I'm so lucky. I've had a long day, tired, been carrying the kids. The kids are at home now. I've been working, carrying the shop. I'm so tired, Doreen. And then the young lady, let's say 29, gets on the bus. There's nowhere for her to sit. Are you saying I should stand up and give her my seat?
Gentlemen usually do, but then if that woman is able, she'd say no, thank you. People ask me if I want.
I'd stand up for you, Doreen, because you're an old bird.
Yeah,
right.
I'd still say no if I'm capable of standing up.
I would stand up for a woman if she was obviously pregnant, and by obviously pregnant, I meant there was no doubt that maybe she was retaining water, or let's be honest, fat. But I wouldn't just stand up for, because we've all heard stories of someone standing up for a pregnant lady and she's not pregnant, she's just she's pregnant full of hot cross buns. But I wouldn't just stand up for just any woman.
Well, it depends, I think, how you was brought up.
No, and I don't think anyone would these days.
Yeah, but just because times have changed, you don't have to.
I tell you what, Doreen, let's put it out there, because I think that most people would not stand up on
not these days, because they're not as gentlemen.
No, but it's not that. Listen, if you want equality, and well done, sisters, you've got the vote and you nearly earn as much as me. If you want equality, then you don't get that seat on the bus, I'm afraid. You don't get that door held open for you.
I never asked for equality.
Well, tough. Your sisters did.
I ain't got a sister.
No, I mean your womanly sisters.
Yes, probably did.
Womankind.
Yeah. But I think it's gone too far now, equality.
Well, we're equal.
I like a man that's what I call a gentleman.
Yeah.
There we are.
Everybody's
different.
A bit Cary Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit Cary Grant.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Doreen, when you die...
Yes?
What song do you want played?
Well, I always wanted Happiness.
Ken Dodd?
The greatest gift that I possess.
Ken Dodd? At your funeral? Blimey.
Because I think if you can bring a bit of happiness into somebody's life and have a laugh, that's what life's all about.
No, I want people sobbing like babies at my funeral.
They probably will. They'll be glad to get rid of you.
Oh, you cheeky mare! How rude. Thank you, Doreen. 03453 009956. Brian says... always look on the bright side of life at his funeral. It's at the bottom of the running order if you want it, taking the funeral march. Oh, you wrote that message. Sorry, Joe, I didn't realise. I read what's on the screen. I'm an idiot savant. If there's something on the screen, I'll read it. Don't give me the evils. What would you like to have played at your funeral? And there's one of those tangents, guys. We've not had too many tangents today. I'm happy to indulge in this one. Doreen there saying she wants a gentleman. She likes gentlemen. Well, we've all made the mistake, haven't we, of offering a seat on a train or a bus to a pregnant woman. Oh, no, she's not pregnant, she's just fat. We've all done that. And now I have to be absolutely certain that she has got... I need to see those bad boys kicking. I need to see them moving before I offer the seat. So many times, the anxiety it brings up, where I am sat there weighing up the is she pregnant? Is she, to the point where I'm staring. But if you... And also, I have been given a dirty look when I've offered a woman a seat before. I don't need that, thank you. I'm perfectly fine. Hey, I know I'm getting old because last year, some kids offered me... Get this, some kids offered me the seat on the bus. Can you believe that? Some 15-year-olds. Would you like to sit down, sir? To me. I took it. I'm not gonna waste the offer of a free seat, am I? For goodness sakes. 03453 009956. It's a tangent. Let's throw it out there. The men and women. I need different sides of the coin, please. Are you a woman? Are you a traditionalist woman who thinks that men should be offering you their seat? They should be opening car doors for you. Holding the door open for you. There can't be that many women under the age of 70 who think that that's a good idea. Producer Joe's telling me I am gentlemanly. I mean, I hold the door open for you because I know that you... I know that you have other things on your mind, shall we say. That you get distracted. And I don't want you to hurt yourself. I do. Well, I don't. But 03453 009956. Women, I need to speak to you directly about this. Do you want men to be gentlemen? Do you want them to open doors for you and offer you seats and do things like that? And fellas, do you still do it? Do you still do it? Are you a traditionalist like that? Or do you think, well, we've got equality now? You want it, baby, then that you have to lose certain things. You lose the door opening for you. You lose the offer of the seat. You lose the... what other treats do women get? Oh, for goodness sake. You can't have it all. You can't. 03453 009956. How do you want your funeral, please? Would you tackle a burglar in your house? It's a ridiculous idea. And coming up, telepathy, psychic powers. Oh, man. You know my thoughts on this. It's all a load of old guff. Well, celebrity psychic Uri Geller will be trying to convince me otherwise. Good luck, Mr. Geller.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's 11 o'clock. Let's get the news now. Here's Nicole.
A 14-year-old boy arrested on suspicion of murdering a woman whose body was found in a street in Smethwick has been released on police bail. West Midlands Police say the teenager who was detained on Thursday in Smethwick has been freed on conditional bail pending further inquiries. Police have yet to release the name of the 48-year-old woman. She was found dead in Cheshire Road in Smethwick on Wednesday. A strike by air traffic controllers in Italy has caused delays and cancellations for thousands of air passengers. The 4-hour walkout begins at 11:30. Ryanair and EasyJet have cancelled more than 150 flights. British Airways says some of its services are also being disrupted. The travel editor of the independent newspaper, Simon Calder, says the air traffic controllers are unhappy about plans to introduce a single airspace policy for Europe.
It's basically handled by the same organisation all the way through. You remove the frontiers, and proponents say it's not just cheaper, you need fewer air traffic controllers, it's also safer because there's less handing over. However, the air traffic controllers, who realise this involves job losses, say no, any reduction in the number of people looking at the skies is bound to impact safety.
A missing Walsall teenager has been found after a police search. Abby Bronson, who's 14, left her family home in Great Barr on Thursday night to go for a walk and didn't return. Police mounted a search for the teenager and she was found by officers 24 hours later. The Good Funeral Awards are taking place in Birmingham today. Categories include Most Promising New Funeral Director, Coffin Supplier of the Year and Best Alternative Hearse. It's part of the Ideal Death Show, and organisers say though the subject matter might seem dark, they usually have more laughs than tears. Carrie Weeks is an undertaker from King's Heath in Birmingham. She's one of the organisers.
For the first time, what we're doing is opening up the awards and this gathering of the funeral world to the public. Because there shouldn't be this kind of big wall between us. So anybody can come along and all kinds of aspects of death will be discussed.
Football and Walsall will try again for their first league win of the season when they play Colchester at the Banksy Stadium this afternoon. It's live on BBC WM. The Saddlers are still without a number of first-team regulars because of injury, with Ashley Grimes the latest to join that list. Despite those problems, the Walsall defender James O'Connor is convinced that they should be doing much better, but knows how competitive this division is.
Throughout the league, you've probably got 15, 16 teams will be frustrated with their start because they think they should be doing better, because I think in this division most of the teams think if they can put a run together they can be right up there come the end of the season. I don't think it's like the Premier League where you have like a top four or do you know what I mean? I think it's a bit different. I think you have to go into each game believing you can win, and I think that's what we do here, which makes it even more frustrating for us.
The weather brightening up this afternoon with some warm sunny spells and a top temperature of 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Becoming dry with clear skies tonight, a cooler night with a minimum temperature of 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, a fine and dry day with some good spells of warm sunshine and light winds and a top temperature of 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
Bless you.
The Voice. The Voice.
The Voice.
The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Man alive, it's busy, huh? Busy, huh? I say busy. If you want to give us a call, excellent time to. We've got 3 lines free. What are we talking about? Would you attack a burglar? OK, if I've not made it clear, I'll tell you this. If they're just stealing your property and you get involved, you're a plum. What a ridiculous, stupid thing to do. You're insured, or at least you should be. Let them take it and claim it back. A nice telly is not worth getting stabbed for. 03453 009956. What's the point of the Green Party? It turns out there's no point. I've got one email. I'll read it in a second. Sticking up for the Greens. Nobody cares about them. If you vote for the Greens, it's a wasted vote, isn't it? 03453 009956. What song would you have played at your funeral? And after the last call we had there, women, you don't really want men to stand up, offer you seats, open doors for you, do you? Well, in that case, can we have the vote back and can we reduce your wages, please? If you want equality, well, it's all or nothing. Why don't women hold the door open for me? 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM
95.6.
We'll also talk about telepathy and psychic powers in a bit. Your stories, please. We'll speak to Uri Geller in a while. Carolyn from Burton-upon-Trent has emailed, the only person sticking up for the Greens. And I think that says a lot. No one even... I suspect many of you didn't even know the Greens were still going. Iain, your point about the Green Party is incorrect. As the Labour Party and Liberal Party have lost the principles on which they were founded, people are turning to the Greens, as they represent a principled, left-leaning party, as well as an ethical stance. As for UKIP and the BNP, they represent what many Conservatives believe in, an anti-European stance, keeping a wide gap between those with money and those without, those without and a lack of manufacturing in the country. Enjoy your programme. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm glad you enjoyed the programme, and I hope you don't mind me dismantling your email slightly. There is confusion amongst the left, isn't there? Because with Labour, they're kind of very central. Lib Dems, well, now they're in bed with the Tories. They're kind of quite central. That will change over the next, 8 months, 10 months? When's the election? May? That will change over that period, and they'll become a little bit left again. But there are not that many people. Not that many people are turning to the Greens. They've got one seat in the House of Commons. They may even lose that in the next general election. 03453 009956. A vote for the Greens is a wasted vote. Discuss. Marcus is in Wolverhampton. Morning, Marcus.
Morning, Iain.
What you got for us?
You know, when these blokes or bloke or whatever break into your house and they want to steal your television and your Xbox and whatnot.
Yes.
How do you ascertain that? Are you going to sit them down and have a little discussion?
No. In my fantasy, and it's just a fantasy, they say, shut up, do as you're told and you won't get hurt. Now, where's the telly?
Right. Well, that's a fantasy, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I've never been burgled.
Well...
Have you?
Yes, I have.
And what happened?
Well, they got a flea in their ear and got told to get off, but they were only kids, so it was not such a big deal. But my point is, you let them take your television.
Yes.
You let them take your computer.
Yeah.
What else do they want to take?
Take whatever they want. I don't care. I'm insured.
Do they want to take your missus?
Well,
do they want to take your kids?
Well, no. But
do they want to do... who knows? If you let them get away with the little stuff, who knows what it's going to escalate to?
Because most burglars are opportunists. A significant number of them are drug addicts. All they want is money to feed their drug addiction. The others are opportunists who want to sell stuff and get a few quid. Most of them know that if they step up from stealing tellies and DVDs to rape and physical harm, they know it then becomes a whole different ballgame and becomes completely different in the courts. And that they're going up from facing probably a bit of community service to actually facing a lengthy time in prison. So most burglars are not rapists and potential murderers.
How do you ascertain that?
Because
when
it's
somebody comes
because
through,
it's a fact. It's
when
a fact,
somebody
Marcus.
comes through your front door.
As I've said before, I don't know if you've been listening. As I've said before, if they walk towards my children's bedroom, then that becomes a different thing, and then Dad kicks in. But
I have been listening to the show, and you've not quantified it because
quantified what?
Who knows? Who knows what they're capable of?
No, but
you basically you want them out of your property.
Yeah, so they can take what they want and go.
Take what they want. Exactly. You've just said.
No, but Marcus, you're not listening to the facts. The facts are.
I am listening exactly.
You're not
You're just wimping out, man.
You're not listening to the facts. Most burglars do not want to cause physical or sexual damage to people in the house. They want to get in and out as quickly and as easily as possible. If
and
they
how
walk
do you
towards,
know? How do you know that that's that person?
If they walk towards my children's bedroom, I would do everything within my physical power to stop them doing that.
Well,
There's your answer.
Where's
the wimping out there, mate?
It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Basically, you stop them as soon as they walk
No,
over
mate,
that
because
threshold.
I am a father and I have a responsibility to not get stabbed and be there for my children. I'm doing the responsible thing by not engaging them in a physical act unless I really, really need to.
Well, unless you've been in that scenario.
Well, yeah, you just said you had a couple of kids in there.
Yeah.
Well, so you've not been in that scenario?
Well, I've been in other scenarios, let's put it that way.
Marcus, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956, the telephone. Cutting you short, because it was like pulling teeth there, and also got a very special guest on. Telepathy. Well, you think it might be something that only happens in dreams and comic books. Well, for the first time, scientists say they've sent a mental message from one person to another without any physical contact between the two people who are thousands of miles apart in India and France. Well, someone who knows about telepathy is one of the world's most famous psychics and also the world's biggest bender of spoons. It's Uri Geller. Good morning, Uri.
Hey, Ian, good morning. Thank you for inviting me onto your show.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Telepathy, it's the stuff of fiction, isn't it? It's not real.
Absolutely not. It's totally real. And let me just go back to the early 70s.
Yeah.
In about 1974... I have to talk about myself here for, a few seconds. I was invited by the CIA to take me through experiments at Stanford Research Institute, which was paid by the American Defense Department.
Yeah.
There, in shielded rooms, I had to read minds of scientists who were, some were miles away from me, some were rooms away from me. And I basically used telepathy. These tests were published in Nature magazine, so we're going back almost 40 years. And as a matter of fact, the BBC did a fascinating documentary called The Secret Life of Uri Geller.
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was
which
good,
you can view on my website, where you will see that telepathy existed already 50 years ago. Also, the American Defense Department and other intelligence agencies are using remote viewers. These are people who are sensitive, intuitive, who can actually send their mind through space and time and bring back secret information.
Well, hang on a minute. What secret information are they bringing back?
Oh, it's endless. Intelligence services use the most sophisticated technology that they have. But sometimes technology doesn't work. Like, for instance, if you want to find out the movements, let's talk about the Russian nuclear train. There's a train going through Russia with nuclear missiles on it. If satellites cannot take a picture of that train, then they use remote viewers to find out where the train is situated. Also submarines, nuclear submarines, and so on. Let me just give you a quick example. When a Russian plane crashed in Africa, in Zaire, it had top secret information on it. The Americans said, get the planes before the Russians get it. Yeah. And a remote viewer found the plane for the CIA.
Where's that? Was it a Malaysian airplane that crashed? Where's
Russian? Oh, the Malaysian airplane.
Yeah, the one that vanished. Where's that then?
Well, sometimes it doesn't work.
And that's the best. Listen, I love you, Uri, and I've seen you do some amazing. But that's the best get-out, isn't it?
Look, let me tell you this. When that plane disappeared, I might be telling you some sensitive information here, but nevertheless, it happened. I was asked by a substantial figure in Malaysia to try to trace the plane down. I foolishly put it on my Facebook page because I asked my fans to kind of help me. And I was immediately attacked by negative skeptics who said, well, look, Uri is using a tragic event. But basically, I got coordinates, and I sent them to that source in Malaysia. I don't really know if they searched that point. Yeah. But yes, telepathy does exist, and I'm willing to do an experiment with your listeners to prove that there is something out there.
Stay there. I've got to take the travel. Can you wait 30 seconds? And I'd love to do an experiment with you. But bless you, sir. Thank you. Uri Geller is going to do an experiment with us to prove that telepathy works. 03453 009956. Let's quickly get the travel. Let's speak to Lizanne.
Thank you very much. Well, there's problems for the M6 toll. There's delays because of a closure of the motorway with queuing traffic. Police have closed the motorway from T8 to T6 because of an incident. They've also closed the T7 entry slip road to prevent traffic joining the motorway. And northbound, there's a closure as they facilitate possibly the landing and takeoff of the air ambulance. So if you are heading towards the M6 toll in that direction, you're going to find it starts to build up for you. The M6 itself, as an alternative, it is heavy southbound from 13 through to 12 in the roadworks, but still moving fine on the northbound stretch if you haven't already joined the M6 toll and you want to go back for the M6 itself. Bristol Road in Selly Oak looks quite busy now. It is moving but heavy from the Selly Oak stretch to Chapel Lane, so just watch out for a few delays through there. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
Thank you very much.
Darlaston,
Edgbaston,
Erdington,
Paisley, Gornal Wood. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
We're speaking to Uri Geller, who's Uri, you may not remember, but we met many years ago on a television programme called Rise, and you were on it quite a lot, and you did the spoon bending thing for me, and it was awesome.
Thank you.
It was awesome to see. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
But you're going to do a little psychic experiment for us now, are you? What are you going to do?
I will, but I don't know how your setup is in the studio, but basically this is what I propose to do. I'm going to draw a very, very simple drawing on a piece of paper in my house. I live in Berkshire, in a small village called Sonning. Yeah. And for 30 seconds, or maybe even less, 20 seconds, I will transmit the drawing to your listeners. I'll just send out the drawing, my waves. It's light-hearted experiment, but hopefully it'll work.
Wow.
Now, people at home, just grab a pen, piece of paper, and draw what you feel.
Joe, get a pen and
paper. I will then, when you finish your show, Ian, just simply email me your fax number, and I will fax you the drawing.
Uri, it's not 1987. I don't think we have a fax anymore. We'll see if we've got one. We'll see if we can.
Then I'll just email you the name of the drawing, whatever I drew.
That will be perfect. Thank you.
And only you will know it. And next week, sometimes on your program, reveal what I drew. Meanwhile, hopefully, your listeners will email you, or I don't know, use your Facebook page or Twitter, the feeling of what they have received from me. So here goes.
Okay.
I've got a piece of paper in front of me.
Yeah.
Got a marker, and I'm drawing a very simple drawing. Here goes. Just give me a moment. Let me finish the drawing, and I can speak while I'm drawing it.
Very good.
Very good. Finished. I'm now staring at the drawing, and I'm imagining it in a kind of an imaginary television screen I have in my mind, and I'm transmitting it out to all of you. Just grab the pen, start drawing, whatever you feel, whatever comes into your mind, put on paper. That's it. I've done it. Now, you people at home, all your listeners, your fans, email the station, whatever you felt, and I will email you name of what I drew, and you will reveal it next week.
Okay, Uri, listen, it's a pleasure to speak to you. Maybe have you got a phone that you can take a picture on, and maybe you could email it from
Absolutely, I will take a.
Producer Joe will get in touch with you straight after. Very quickly, Graham is in Bourneville. Good morning, Graham.
Hello,
Graham. You've been to Uri's house. Is this right?
Uri invited me in January this year. I'm a micro artist. I do miniature engraving.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to have a chat with Uri, and while I was there, in fact, he picked the wrong time for me because I'd got a real bad back problem. I'd had an MRI scan, which found a slipped disc, and I was in agony. But with Uri, he exudes a lot of energy, and he put his hand on my back. And, you know, from that day on, I was fine. I haven't had a problem since.
Really?
Yeah.
Uri, you fixed his back?
That's great to hear. I'm not a healer, but I definitely believe in the, positive thinking, motivation, and inspiration. And my wife, Hannah, and I, we open our house to terminally ill children. And I'm not a healer, but when, for instance, I bend a spoon to these kids, they're so at awe that then I can turn that into a placebo effect, talk to them about positive thinking and working with their doctors and so on. So from that point of view, maybe he believed so much that I had that energy that he himself fixed his own back. That is a possibility.
Have you still got the car covered in spoons, Uri?
Absolutely. You're welcome to come to my house one day.
I'm coming down.
Let me just again remind everyone, my website is urigeller.com. The BBC documentary is called The Secret Life of Uri Geller. I think you'll be astounded when you watch it.
Mate, it's always nice to speak to you. Uri, stay on the line because producer Joe will give you the email details. If you could take a photograph of your picture and email... Fax machine, Uri, for goodness sakes. Fax. Speak to Joe and you can send us that. What did you... I drew something. I don't know what he's drawn. Email in your drawings, Iain.lee, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk. Let us know what it was that you drew from Uri's psychic message. Thank you, Mr. Geller.
This year, one man takes on the biggest challenge of his life. His mission: to change the lives of many in Birmingham and the Black Country.
Jim, listen, I'm going to personally call them after the show. You got my word on this. You're not being treated fairly. They gave you their word. They're not keeping to it.
And bring the chaos with him.
I'm going to read out the phone number nice and slowly because someone's complained. 030. Forgotten it, I don't believe it. What a mug I look.
A new champion for the West Midlands. Forget everything you've heard before.
I have been sacked so many times. I'm just waiting for it to happen here.
A new hero for mid-mornings.
You got the Danny Kelly guarantee.
His name, Danny Kelly, starts Monday from 9 when he finally gets here.
Guys, train's running late. Can you start without me again? So sorry.
BBC WM
95.6.
Whatever you think of Uri Geller, did he say it to you offline as well? Off air? OK, right. Well, he's given us an invitation. We're going down to Berkshire. He's just said to producer Joe, we can go to his house. There's a feature for the show, guys. That'll be on one of the Friday shows coming up. Whatever you think of what Uri Geller does, you've got to admit, he's brilliant, isn't he? Whether it's trickery or it's real psychic, whatever it is, he's brilliant. He's such good value. What did you draw? Give us a call, let me know. 03453 009956. What we'll do is we will get his picture at the end of the show, and then next week we'll tweet the picture of him, what he drew. Is that how you want to do it? Well, are we doing it now? Is he sending us the picture now? Ooh, OK. Well, hopefully we'll do it before the end of the show then. That'll be exciting, won't it? Do give us a call. Let me know what you drew, please. 03453 009956. I've got a picture that I drew. We'll find out. Can I get Patrick, stay there. I'll come to you in a second about burglars. I've just got a really nice. That's the wrong word. That demeans it. I've got a touching email from John in Tiverdale. We're talking about death and passing away. And Iain, my late wife, passed away aged 54 in 2005, apologies. She was a very active, outgoing person until she ended up in hospital with a terminal illness. She had tubes going in and coming out, unable to talk, walk or feed herself. Although I couldn't do it, it now makes me sympathise and understand people talking about assisted death. I fell in love with her at first sight when she was 16 and we had a marvellous married life. I loved her when she passed away and I still love her today. Because of this, I've told my children and grandchildren not to be sad when my time comes, but be happy for me as I will be with her again. I look forwards to passing away as it could be a new adventure, but it's how I pass away that concerns me. After a certain age, I think we're not so concerned about passing away as it's a release from trials, tribulations, worries, and for some people, a release from pain and suffering. Iain, wait till you're over 70 and you may change your views. Thank you, John. Patrick's in Castle Bromwich. Morning, Patrick.
Morning, mate.
Did you draw a picture with Uri Geller?
No, because I'm actually outside.
Oh, I think you can still draw outside. Do you remember Watercolour Challenge?
No, I don't.
Oh, that was good. It was Hannah Gordon, I think her name was, and she would get people to paint a picture. It was a competition. It was wonderful. Anyway.
Right, back to your burglary.
Yes.
What you're saying is absolutely right, right? Yeah. About not confronting them.
Of course it is.
But there is a part of you which you've never met, right? Oh. And I had that.
Yeah.
2 burglars in the house. Now, let me describe myself. I'm 5'8", 12.5 stone.
Okay.
Today I'm 57. When it happened, I was 52.
Yep.
Right? I don't know where it come from. I just ran at them. I am not a violent man. I'm a nice guy. If you slap me round the face, I turn around and walk away from you. There is a part of you you've never met, and it's inside you, a bit like the Hulk. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
That's the truth. People coming on saying I do this and do that. They don't know what they do. That's the gospel. You don't know what you do till it happens. I've had it happen to me, and that's what I did. And I was surprised at myself. My wife was surprised. We've got no kids to defend. There was just me and the wife in the house. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Truthfully, nobody can say what they're going to do till it happens, and that includes you.
So what did you do?
Flew at them, went mad, went spare, was like a windmill.
Yeah.
They became more scared of me. Little mad old man, honestly. And I can see where this 59-year-old guy was coming from. There's another part of you, there's just something that kicks in, and it's the fight or flight thing. That's the truth.
And did you kind of blank out? Were you aware of what you were doing?
No, I was aware because I went for the biggest one first because he was standing in front of his mates and all I wanted to do was push him onto him so the other one couldn't get me.
Right.
Sort of subconsciously I knew what I was doing. You know, it just happened.
Yeah.
You know, it probably...
And afterwards, when it had all... What happened? Did they run away? Did the police come and arrest them? What happened?
No, the police came. They didn't get arrested. Copper says to me I was stupid. Yeah. I says I totally agree with you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you realise you were.
You know, I says I totally agree with you. I says, but that was not my intention. You know, it just happened. You know?
And afterwards, I can imagine...
Perfectly calm.
Really? Because I can imagine myself bursting into tears.
No, perfectly calm. Annoyed that they'd been in my house, but within myself I was perfectly calm. Sat down, cup of tea, you know.
Patrick, listen, I appreciate that. Thank you. 03453 009956. I talk about bursting into tears. Watched a really sad film yesterday. I was sobbing in my living room. And then when I thought I was all right, I started sobbing again. It's a brilliant film. I've seen it before. It's a documentary. I've not seen it for years. And I watched it because I wanted to watch something uplifting. And I forgot there are 2 bits in it where it's just like it punches you in the guts. It's a brilliant documentary. You can get it for like £2 on Amazon called Young at Heart. I'll lend it to you, Joe. It's brilliant. And it's about this choir. Well, they're not a choir. It's about this group in America, right? And they're all in their 70s and their 80s, and they sing David Bowie songs, Ramones, Talking Heads, Sonic Youth. It's brilliant. It's such a good film, right? And they do it completely straight. They sing a bit of James. They've got these 2 people in their 80s singing James Brown, and the old fella can't get the rhythm right. I feel good. It's brilliant, and it's really uplifting and heartwarming. And then one of them dies. Oh, one of them dies a week before the gig. Oh, and so it's supposed to be a duet. The fella is singing I Will Fix You by Coldplay. A terrible song, but actually, there's supposed to be 2 of them, and one of them dies. And it ends with the one guy left singing I Will Fix You by Coldplay, and he can't breathe, right? He's got an oxygen thing. So as you hear, all you hear is the piano and him singing, and his oxygen going... And it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. But man, I was in my living room. It's partly because I'd not seen my boys for 3 weeks, so I was feeling a little bit emotional. But I was in my living room with a handkerchief out, and I was sobbing like a baby. Oh, and it was wonderful. You know, sometimes a good cry is just it's good for the soul. Just kind of, it's cleansing. It's better than a colonic. I think a good cry is better than a colonic and has pretty much the same effect, in my humble. 03453 009956 is the phone number. If you want to give us a call. Let's have a look at some of these texts, loads of texts. In terms of burglars, Nick says, I'm with you all the way. I would be the same. I'd let them take whatever they wanted. Same as you, unless they threaten my kids' lives, then nature would take over to protect them. And that's what I'm saying. We had one fella saying I was being wimpy. Wimpy? Because I'm not that bothered about a telly. I'm not that bothered about some DVDs. I'm not that bothered about things. Most burglars are opportunists. They don't want to rape you or your wife. They don't want to kill your kids. Very, very few burglars will want to do that. They want to get in, get your stuff, get out as quickly as possible. Whereas if I start kicking off with them, it's going to provoke them. It's going to provoke them. Yes, if they walked towards my boy's bedroom, then, man alive, they better be careful, because the animal instinct we just heard about then, that's going to kick in. No one is going in my boy's bedroom unless I give... No one is going in there without my permission. I can feel that kind of rising now. Rob's in Northfield. Morning, Rob.
How you doing, Ian? All right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm making myself angry now, thinking about my boys getting hurt.
All right. Yeah, listen... Well, I agree with you in principle. Maybe standing back is the best policy.
Yeah.
But don't you think, you said it's a few crackheads want the money for drugs. Don't you think if the word gets round that you're a soft touch, you'll get done again and again and again? And then you can't have an house insurance because you've been done so many times.
No. I don't believe there is a criminal network where they all meet up in a shooting gallery or at some drug dealer's house and go, yeah, man... I've just got to say, that house at number 67, they are like such a... I don't know why they're speaking like Mick Jagger. I don't think it will be Mick Jagger that burgled my house. But no, I don't think they'll get together and go, yeah, number 67, that's the place you want to go, because the fella there is a light touch. It doesn't work like that.
No, I disagree, because there are places where they meet up, like the backstreet pubs and that. Oh, where'd you get it from? Oh, down there. It's like when these shops get done over... The word goes around, soft touch there, they got no security on, just go in, empty the shelves and away you go. Word gets round, mate, and if you don't believe that, then I'm afraid, Ian, that you're not living in the real world.
But I'm just being slightly distracted, Rob, because Joe is freaking out at the results of the Uri Geller experiment, but Joe, we'll come to that in a second. I know what you're saying, Rob, but more fool you if you get burgled and then that very same day or the next morning you don't go out and buy the best locks you can buy for your house. More fool you.
Well, no, I mean, I quite agree. You probably would get the best locks. But what happens if you do get done again, even if you have got the best locks? These people know how to get in, don't they? And as I say, in my opinion, once the word gets around, you're a soft touch. You'll be done again and again. This is why there are crime hotspots. Rob,
listen, thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. I'm excited because... You're right, Joe. Just I put a barrier up to stop people getting in. So I'm about to... I'm not going to announce what it is yet. Oh, look, there's a picture of Uri. Look, isn't that nice? Yeah, OK. I mean, it's an obvious one. That was going to be my first thing.
Nobody else has texted in with it.
Only
me.
OK.
What about me?
So do you think you've got psychic powers now?
No, I just...
OK. That was going to be my first choice. But then I switched it to something else. All right, well, I won't reveal what it is yet. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. But well done, Joe, who's got the same picture as Uri. Let's go to Wendy. Morning, Wendy.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Good, thank you very much indeed. What have you got for us?
It's going to be completely wrong. I'm so riveted by your programme. You're terrible. Every Saturday morning I can't leave the house until you finish.
You wait till next Friday, 2 till 4 as well.
I think it's a tree.
So did you draw a tree?
I just saw it in my head, sort of almost like an oak tree-shaped silhouette.
Yeah.
I'm going to be wrong, aren't I?
Do you believe, Wendy? Do you believe in psychic powers?
I believe in intuition. It depends what you call it.
Right.
It depends what you call it. I believe that you can sometimes. I do believe that in certain situations, not necessarily today on the radio, but in certain situations, I do believe that sometimes you can sort of tap into. That's how people do tarot cards. And sometimes they're accurate. It's not that. It's just that they're kind of intuitive about the person. That's, that's it.
or it could just be coincidence, couldn't it?
Well, it could, but it depends. But there are many names you could call it, you say.
Wendy, are you listening for the next 20 minutes or so?
Yes, indeed.
Keep listening.
OK, then.
Keep listening, because you keep listening. Barry's in Tamworth. Good morning, Barry.
Morning, Ian.
What did you draw?
I drew a picture of a cat wearing a back-to-front baseball hat.
I can safely say, Barry, that is not what Mr. Uri Geller drew.
Well, blimey.
You got that one wrong. You got that wrong.
Tell Attis he didn't wear it then.
We've got, let me just quickly, Lucy has emailed in. She has sent me a picture of her rainbow that she drew. And Graham, who we spoke to, says, Ian, I just called the show. Uri helped me with my back problem. I drew a triangular sail on a boat. And also, do go to his house. When there, ask him to show you his toilet in the hall. It's his pride and joy. Blimey. OK, Barry, you've called in as well about the Green Party, have you?
Yeah, well,
it's a wasted vote, isn't it?
Well, vote for the Green Party is a wasted vote. Well, personally, ditto the Labour, the Tories, the Lib Dems.
Well, it's not a wasted vote because one of them might get into power.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, but if voting changed anything, it'd abolish it.
They have to vote on it first. No, and I know what you're saying. All the parties, I mean, making up that you're saying all of the parties are the same and there's not really much choice. But if I vote for Labour in the next election, there's a strong chance they might win. If I vote for Lib Dems, there's a strong chance that they might be in the position to form a coalition again. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you vote for the Green, they're not going to get in.
I'm being a bit flippant, really, like, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not those to be taken too seriously, like, but, you know, I mean, it is in some respects about changing, abolish it, you know what I mean?
Barry, while I've got you on, you sound like you're from a particular generation.
Yeah.
You sound old.
Yeah.
Do you still offer your seat to women and open doors for them and things like that?
I open doors, but I'll tell you what, a lot of times, today, there's very few people say, you know, say thank you or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, I mean, and it's like when the kids sound about young people, right?
Yeah.
About the respect and ignorance and all this, that, and the other. I think it's just as many elderly people as there are young people, and I think the young people get you know, the pretty. Well, the way they get thought of today, I think it's wrong, and I feel sorry for the young people.
All right, but Barry, thank you very much indeed. Nadine on the text says, was Uri's picture a cat? No, that was Barry's. Unfortunately, you've psychically tuned in with Barry. Anonymous, Uri has drawn a TV. That's why he said, like a TV in my mind. He's a fake. No, he didn't. It's not what he's drawn. Jay says it's a picture of the sun. Chris, what did you draw?
I draw a church.
And what does the church look like?
It's quite an oldish type church with with a spire on, and there's like some old gravestones in front of it. It's like a picturesque type one, really. Why that came into my head, I don't know.
And I was going to ask, but did you, when Uri was talking, did he touch you? Did you feel anything?
No, I just popped into my head, really. I was listening to, I just happened to put your show on because I do like to listen to you, but sometimes, I'll be honest, I forget to switch on. But when you're on, I agree with that other lady, once your show's on, that's it, you have to listen. I've got to be honest about that.
You're very kind.
Yeah, but it's very true. But that, I was just happened to listen. I thought, I've got to listen to this.
I'm going to reveal what it is after the travel, so in about 10 minutes' time, so keep listening.
Yeah.
But just to what I was talking to Barry about there, do you like it when gentlemen offer you a seat or hold the door open for you, or do you think it's a little bit patronising?
No, I don't think it's patronising. I don't think it happens so much now. But if it does, I was going to say to you that I always say thank you. I usually joke and say, gentlemen are dying breed, you know, which I think they are sometimes.
The thing is, I have had occasion where I have offered a seat to a woman, and I don't do it so often, unless it's someone I know is obviously pregnant or obviously struggling to walk. Then I tend not to do it because I've offered seats to women in the past, and I've been told off by them for it.
Oh, well, I'd say I'd accept the seat and say thank you.
Chris,
and I'd probably say what I usually say, that gentlemen are a dying breed.
Chris, if ever I see you looking for a seat, you can certainly have it. Keep listening. I will reveal Uri's picture in a bit. Mike's in Sutton. Morning, Mike.
Hi there. Just in comment to you, you comment about people meeting up in pubs and passing on information. You think it's bizarre, but I read something recently. The police are saying that burglars will mark houses which are vulnerable, and they'll mark them in different ways with regards to whether it's a vulnerable person.
Now, is that true? Because I've heard that's been going on for centuries. Hobos have been doing that.
That was recently in the papers. I mean, you're a journalist.
Well, I'm not, but thanks for.
Well, I thought you were. But,
no, I'm just a bloke. I'm literally just a bloke. I have no useful skills.
Well, if you want an answer, go to the police. Instead of talking to us, go to the police and ask them.
Well, I could do, but then that would defeat the object of the phone-in. I could go and talk to the police, and we do talk to the police on the show.
Yeah, but ultimately, you're just phoning, but you're saying you don't believe. You don't believe. You said, I do not believe. Fine, you don't believe. Well,
no, I
think have an argument back and forth, and I'm just saying that the police report in the paper recently, I can't remember which one, said that houses are being marked.
Okay.
End of.
Okay.
So,
well, I don't believe, but there you go, and that's fine. You
didn't believe that near-death experiences, did you?
No, that's
that out.
Well, no, near-death experiences are obviously nonsense.
But some time ago, I pointed out the issues. Yes, people see the light, that could be hallucinatory, but if people are seeing things which are happening when they are in another room when they're supposedly dead.
Yeah. Or they could have heard. They could have heard something. Someone could have said something. You know, if
they're supposedly dead or they've seen something. I gave you the example of the blind guy who'd been born blind, who was clinically dead, and then he told the doctor where he dropped his pen.
Coincidence? Maybe.
Well, so somebody who's been blind since birth. You know, I'm not saying.
Well, blind people can still imagine things, and be affected by coincidence.
Well, I find that one a little bit...
You find coincidence harder to believe than the fact that a dead blind man saw where a doctor had dropped his keys? Gosh.
Well, first of all, he's clinically dead.
Yeah, so dead blind man saw where a doctor had dropped his keys is more plausible than coincidence, lucky guess, or it didn't happen.
Well, it's questionable, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. It's open to question, and anyone who says, "Oh, that's total coincidence." I mean, that's a bit bizarre.
Coincidence is less bizarre, and we'll get back to what you called in for in a second, but I do enjoy your calls. Coincidence is less bizarre than a dead blind man seeing where someone dropped some keys, I think, personally.
Well, there's other incidents where people have overheard conversations miles away. I mean, I'm not...
Did you draw Uri Geller's picture?
No, I didn't even hear it.
Oh.
Didn't even hear it.
Oh, okay.
And apart from that, if you want to talk about coincidence, if you've got an audience of 100,000 people, I'm sure 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 or 1,000 are going to come up with the same picture.
Yeah, quite possibly.
That's not...
No, it's certainly not a laboratory condition, I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly, but that's why what I say, if you've got more than one incident where you have...
And you've got these incidents from the internet, have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And you trust the internet?
No. I mean, I'm as sceptical as the next person. But
well, hang on a minute, Mike. I don't think you are as sceptical as the next person if you're believing that a dead blind man saw some keys.
No. Look. You've got to read between lines depending who the witness is. In this case, it was a doctor. Look at it yourself. For every one that you think is complete and utter rubbish, there's 10 that you think are rubbish. Whatever the subject, whatever the conspiracy theory, there is always one that goes, oh, hang on a second, that raises questions. It doesn't make you a believer, but if you've got an open mind, you go.
Mike, you called in about burglars, and I want you to get your point in before we move on.
Well, the point was you said that you didn't believe it happened, and I'm just pointing out that the police reckon
of course, yes.
that they do mark properties, which is along the lines of a conspiracy, a gang meeting up. It's not meeting in a pub, but it's like, ooh. And apparently they're marked for whether it's vulnerable people, elderly people, con people. weak security, whatever it might be.
Mike, listen, thank you. I've heard of that happening like hundreds of years ago. Hobos used to do it in the States. Does it still happen? Burglars getting a little bit of chalk, and they used to have like a little secret code and writing. I'm not convinced. What did you draw when Uri Geller? What? The Da Vinci Code? What's that got to do with it? The Pinchy Code? What on earth are you talking about? Well, we all know Nicole's bonkers. What did you draw when Uri Geller psychically transported an image into your head? This was the first thing I'll tell you after the travel. Give us a call, 03453 009956. Someone, Daniel, I think, sent me, he tweeted a picture of a radio. We've had a few other comments. So far, only Joe has got this right. One of the callers got pretty darn close as well. 03453 009956. I am sceptical in all of this stuff. This is the first thing I was going to draw. Partly, the reason I didn't is because I thought, it's going to be that because that's what everyone draws. That's what everyone draws. Yeah, I know. And Uri has sent us a picture of him holding the telephone, holding a photograph. I wonder if was that picture taken today? Yeah. And what did he say? Anyway, he's always good value to have on, and we're going to pop down to his house at some point. Imagine going to Uri Geller's house. How exciting. 03453 009956. I will reveal what Mr. Geller drew after the travel. BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel now. Here's Lisanne.
Thank you very much. Well, if you are heading out at the moment, as we head in towards lunchtime, you'll find that traffic is quite heavy on some routes. Around Sally Oak northbound is busy on the Bristol Road up towards Priory Crossroads. If you're heading for the motorways, we still have problems for the M6 toll. In the southbound stretch, you'll find a closure still in place. So we've got queuing traffic as police continue to deal with an incident between junctions T8 and T6. The T7, the entry slip road remains closed for you. It's also busy on the A5 as a result of people heading around that area. And the northbound stretch, the delays still in place between junctions 6T and 7T. All lanes there are reopened. They were closed for a brief time, and that caused quite a bit of a slow delay, and it's still causing some problems for you on that stretch. If you're making your way out across the rest of the region, it's looking okay for the other motorway networks, the M6, the M5. No major problems for trains either. They seem to be moving pretty much on timetable. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
Iain Lee
On BBC WM
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6, here every Saturday between 9 and 12, and from next Friday, here every Friday between 2 and 4. Who'd have thought it? Daz is up at midday. We'll speak to him in a few minutes and find out what he's talking about football. Could save him he's talking about football. Could save him the bother. Kevin.
Hello, mate.
Morning, Kevin. You all right?
Morning, mate. Yes, thank you.
What you got for us, fella?
Hello, my mate. Well, what it was, right, I used to work for the City Council as a highway inspector.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so what my job entitled me marking the footway for repair.
Yeah.
So the one time I was in Northfield and I was marking the footpath for repair, and a policeman drove up, jumped out the car. Oi, what are you doing?
Oh.
I says, I'm marking a footpath, mate, for the highways. He says, why? I said, because I'm going to put the repair in to get it repaired. He says, there's been burglars going around marking the footway outside certain houses where there'd probably be somebody vulnerable in there. So they could come back at another time and burgle the premises, and they had a spate of them.
Oh, blimey. So that does happen
It does
still.
really happen, yeah.
Kevin, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, no problem.
What's your accent? I can hear Brummy in there.
Yeah.
I can hear something else mixed in there, and I can't quite place it.
I don't know, mate. It's just the way I've always spoke.
Really?
Yeah.
There's something...
Born Brummie, I'm born in the Black Country, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, have people pointed that out before, that it feels like there's just something else floating around in there?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Kevin...
And if somebody burgled my house, I'd batter them. I would really beat them, really, because if I went to my house and somebody was in there, I don't know what their intentions are. And they could actually be going there to kill me.
Yeah. You've got a lot of enemies, have you?
Nah. Well, I used to work on the doors.
Oh.
You know how it goes, mate.
Okay, right, yeah. So they'd be an idiot to burgle your house.
Well, they'll burgle anybody's house, really. A lot of the time, they're just probably they don't even know who lives in the house.
But exactly, they're chances, right? And you know that you can only dish out what is described as a reasonable force.
Yeah.
So you couldn't leave them in a wheelchair. You couldn't kill them.
No, but, perhaps at the time when your adrenaline's going and whatever, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody could kill anybody anyway. It's inside of anybody.
No. Do you really?
Really? I think anybody can kill anybody. It's just that time where if they snap, somebody just has to snap at that time.
Yeah. Kevin, listen, good talk to you, mate. Call again, won't you? 03453 009956 is the phone number. Isn't it funny? Every time we've had a guest coming on, the caller before them has been quite extreme in their views. And the guests are going, what is this nonsense we've got involved in? We have got a guest. By the way, last 10 minutes of the show, 03453 009956. We'll have a little recap in a second. I will reveal Uri Geller's picture in a second. Is it okay to be good enough? It's known that around 1 in 10 women suffer from postnatal depression in the year after their baby is born. But many of those mothers won't have written a musical about their experience. Emily Beecher did just that after being diagnosed with depression when her daughter Maisie was 10 months old. She joins us now. Morning, Emily. Emily, where are you? You're there. Hello, Emily.
Hello.
You're right. Sorry, I had the wrong fader. My fault. So, how did you get diagnosed with depression? What happened after Maisie was born?
Well, actually, when Maisie was born, I had a really good time of it. The first few weeks were great, and they reckon that the depression probably kicked in at some point between 3 and 5 months postpartum. And I think part of the thing with the new baby is everyone's like, oh yeah, it's really hard, but it gets better at 3 weeks, or it gets better at 6 weeks, or it gets better at 12 weeks. And I had just kind of kept going, and it just didn't feel like it got any better. And I just assumed, I'd never been a mum before, so I just assumed that that's kind of how it was, and I was just not very good at it. But it was a series of sort of non-stop things.
And how did it affect? How was your day-to-day behaviour affected by it?
I think there was a variety of things. I really struggled to get out of the house. I was just really down. Anything was a momentous task. I used to abandon grocery carts in the supermarket because I just couldn't go on with the shop. It just seemed too difficult. So I was quite isolated. I'd make a massive effort if I was going to go out, which is why I think none of my friends really knew that I was struggling. Because I would go out and I would make sure that my hair was done and my makeup was on and everyone thought that I was fine.
Was it easier for you, not necessarily in terms of the depression, but was it easier for you once it had been diagnosed, once you knew that actually there was something wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, it was the greatest relief. It was.
Yeah.
I remember saying to someone, there's something wrong with me. Like, this is the most marvelous thing ever, that there's something wrong with me. And I'm not just a really terrible mother who can't cope. There's a reason for this. And that's when I started to be more open about my experiences with people and just say, actually, no, I'm having a really bad day. But because it sort of gave me permission. And what I found in the beginning is that people would then start confiding their struggles and their sort of secrets with me. And that's kind of where the idea for the musical was born.
The musical is the Good Enough Mums Club.
Right.
Listen, people get depression, people get postnatal depression. They don't tend to write musicals about it. Where did that idea come from?
Early motherhood is such a musical experience anyways, with all the sort of nursery rhymes and the really annoying musical toys. And I had discovered early on that Maisie was very compliant if I sort of made up a song and sang a request to her. So I found that it was really a musical experience for me. And my background was in acting and production. So I'd never written a musical before, but I felt like it needed to sort of capture that part of the experience. But I think, as we started to pull together the message, and the idea that, you don't have to be perfect. And we all go into it. I mean, motherhood's one of the only things that you're expected to get right from the get-go. There's no training, there's no encouragement, there's tons of differing opinions and books and theories, but everyone sort of looks down on you if you don't have it, perfect right away.
The whole thing, not just mothering, but parenthood. When we had our first boy, and when you're in the hospital, you've got, grandparents and nurses and doctors, and then there was that weird moment when my wife and I got home. We put him down in the Moses basket on the floor, and we looked at each other and went, what do we do now? What do we do with it? It's expected, isn't it, that we should instinctively know how to be parents and what to do. And actually, it's flipping hard.
It is really hard. And I think because, I think for both parents, I think there's this expectation, but I think especially for mothers,
Yeah.
it's like you're supposed to have this maternal instinct that guides your every move or whatever it is. And we really don't have a clue. And lots of people are having children later in life. And that means they haven't had, close time exposure to children. I mean, I was 34 when I had Maisie, and I hadn't changed a nappy in probably close to 20 years.
Wow.
I mean, I just hadn't had that experience. So as opposed to a time when we were all having, people were having kids at 20, and they probably had younger cousins and siblings that were close by that they were exposed to. So, yeah, it is really hard, and you have no idea what you're supposed to do, and every child is different, and every parent is different. And I think it's really easy for people to sit back and sort of cut at you or, be competitive with you. I mean, competitive parenting drives me nuts. So we just really wanted to sort of spread the message that I truly believe that, most parents are doing the best they can with what they've got, and that they don't set out to make decisions to hurt their children.
The musical, The Good Enough Mums Club, where are you with it? Is it happening? Is it completed? Is it on? What's going on?
We've just finished a couple of weeks run in July, so we are actually in the process of booking a national tour for the show, which is really exciting. And we can't wait to bring it up to Birmingham, actually, and surrounding areas. But I also think, there's going to be a lot more. So if people want information, we're on Facebook and Twitter and the website. They can get more information about the tour. But we've been really fortunate in the support that we've garnered for it of late.
So I'm assuming if they just Google Good Enough Mums Club, Twitter and Facebook, they'll find where to go, will they?
Absolutely. And if they go to thegoodenoughmumsclub.com, all of our links are on there as well, and they can sign up for a newsletter and to keep abreast of the information. And there's videos on there. We've done a video of our opening number called 9 Months, which is on the website as well.
Emily, best of luck with it. Let us know when you're coming to Birmingham, and we'll give it a little plug, of course. Thank you very much for that.
Sonny and I are asking, when did your relatives disapprove of your partner? We'd love to hear your stories.
Oh, good afternoon, darling. Welcome to the afternoon programme.
Thank you
so much. I was 19 when I got married. My dad didn't approve of the marriage. We've been married for 54 years now.
That's so beautiful, Eunice.
What's the secret? Because I need all the help I can get
Come on, darling.
with my lovely wife.
What's the secret? A kiss and a cuddle.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more.
Afternoons with Sonny and Shay.
A brand new afternoon show. Weekdays from 2.
BBC WM 95.6.
I couldn't think of anything worse than doing a show with my wife. Hey, you want to hear two people argue and not talk for a while? Listen to me and my wife. No. Daz. Hello, Daz. Is Daz there?
Afternoon, how you doing?
You thought you
Good
could sneak off?
afternoon.
You thought you could sneak off for a wee or a cup of tea? No, or a cheeky pie? No, you
Done
can't.
both of them.
Have you?
If you can hear a humming noise in the background as well, because we've got a bouncy castle right by me.
Oh, mate.
And I'm tempted.
Well, as a dad...
I don't think I'm going to get through the afternoon without having to go on the bouncy castle.
As a dad, you're allowed on the bouncy castle to make sure your kids are all right. That's one of the benefits of being a dad.
You're right. It's like when you go to those wacky warehouses as well. There's those big ones with the massive slides that you have to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one who's always walking up the slide. Just you get told off. That's me.
I love it. And you have to do it because you've got to make sure the kids are all right. Daz, you're in Halesoe in town today.
Right.
What's happening today?
Well, today is National Non-League Day, so BBC WM Sport, we're right across the patch covering a whole host of non-league matches. And I'm here down at Halesoe, early kick-off on the way from midday. Of course, all the banter, all the build-up, some great music as well. And they will be linking up as well with Francie and Rigo, because they're at Walsall, our only league team who are playing this afternoon. Walsall against Colchester, that'll be on the way later. So we'll be linking up with those boys. But yeah, we're concentrating on non-league. And interestingly, you've been talking about, obviously, burglaries this morning. Halesoe in town, just a couple of days before the season, actually did have a break in here, and they're still recovering from that. And they're bringing in the big new tellies this morning when we got here, so that's me sorted a bit later on. So burglary obviously affects everybody, but it's going to be a good afternoon, and anybody on the way to any non-league matches, the ones we're covering, the ones we're not covering, give us a call, whether you're a player, a supporter, a chairman, a manager, and tell us where you're going today, and hopefully we'll get a few people down to boost the gate at a few of our local clubs.
Daz, have fun today. Very nice to meet your little girl as well earlier on, so enjoy it. So, and we'll tweet this picture as well. What are we at BBCWM, aren't we? I believe that is our Twitter. So, what did Uri Geller, the phenomenon, the bender of spoons, the psychic master, what did he transmit that producer Joe got, and one of our listeners, at least, got very close to, maybe two? Well, no, I didn't, because, OK, he drew a house with a chimney, 2 windows and a door, and next to that house was a big oak tree. I say oak tree, it was a tree with like a bit of ice cream on the top. He drew a house and a tree. Did you get close, guys? We'll take a picture of that and we'll, at BBCWM and at Iain Lee, we'll tweet that. Well, there we go, we're done. Thank you so much for all the calls. Producer Joe, lovely to have you back. Thank you, Bernie. Excellent stuff as always, apart from when you muffed up at one bit. Anyway, that's it. That's your lot. Don't forget, back next Saturday, 9 till 12, but also Friday. I know, Fridays we start 2 till 4 from this Friday. It's a weekly show. I'm not quite sure what we'll be doing. More of the same nonsense, really. Lots of calls today. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You can email in the week if you want, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Daz is up next. Until Friday. Bye-bye.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
So on the way now then on BBC WM 95.6, it's early kick-off with me, Daz Hale, on National Non-League.